What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for finding the YouTube channel. Yes, I am a streamer. And yes, I love to sit down with great hosts. And yes, I'm over on twitch.tv/liquidmusicent if you want to follow the channel. We got to sit down with an awesome streamer, an awesome person from New Orleans. Got to talk about being positive, a little mental health in there, and relocating from an area where he's usually from, Louisiana, and he gets to talk about taking all his life and uprooting it all and moving it to a new area in Texas for a brand new job and all that fun stuff. So you found a great interview. You found a great channel for us to do this every single month. And if you guys want to catch these live, go ahead and drop the follow over on Twitch, and also follow this channel if you can as well. And any comments would help as well, boost that algorithm and put this out there. Once again, we sit down with every single month. We sit down and talk about different topics that a streamer or somebody very important to us can talk about. I mean, we've had people on here from an old game called Stream Raiders, Captain TV. We've had folks on here talking about computers, 10 years of streaming, Pokemon, being a Fae, all these great stuff. And last month we talked to Ali Rosepedal about fibromyalgia, and what a great interview that was as well. But you're not here because you just watched that video before. Now we're sitting down with GameCowTV, and you found a great one. Make sure you go follow GameCowTV over on Twitch when he starts streaming again, and we'll see you next month when we sit down and talk to somebody awesome. And I can't wait to share that interview with you as well. So you found a great one. I totally appreciate it. We're keeping these intros short because I got some feedback saying let's just get to the interview, and that's what I'm going to do. So thank you so much. Oh, I forgot. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow, and all that kind of fun stuff like we always do. So thank you so much, and we'll jump in 30 seconds into the video. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Welcome all gamers, music lovers, sports users all around the galaxy, and if you're Padawan at least 18 years of age, this might get a little spicy for you, so you might not want to be here today. But you know what? We have a great guest tonight, and we're going to have a good time. Let's fucking go! What's up, everybody? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's the Dragon Squad, by the way. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much. Allie's with a 70 stream streak. Holy fuck. We just dropped the F-bomb right off the bat here. We're not even going to wait. We do have a channel for tracking and how many miles we've done and all that kind of stuff. So what a freaking great time. Anyways, we have a great show tonight, and we have a really great guest. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping real quick here. And then I wrote an intro, like I always do when I talk about this. I write an intro, and as I'm sitting there, and we had our community night last night, we were talking, and GameCow popped in, and I was sitting there working on the intro and doing all that kind of fun stuff, asking him questions, getting the lightning round done, and I realized my intro is kind of long, so you guys have to deal with it because I was like, this is awesome. I'm enjoying a lot of this and writing it down and whatnot. So, but before we do, thank you so much for GameCow to join us tonight. We're going to bring him on here in just a second as we merge into the midnight hour. If we see Eagle Scout's birthday is on the 18th, which is in a few days or a few hours, I should say. So if he pops in, say hi, happy birthday to Eagle Scout. On Monday, our YouTube channel will release last month's interview, like we will with this month's next month. On the YouTube channel. Last month we get to sit down with Ali Rosepedal. We talked about fibromyalgia and all this kind of great stuff, living in Wisconsin and whatnot. So what a great conversation that was. So that'll drop on the YouTube channel on Monday at 5 p.m. Central. That's the 21st. And speaking of Ali, when we go live at 10 p.m. on the 22nd, it'll be her birthday. So make sure that you say happy birthday to Ali on Tuesday, the 22nd of July. Then we're going to do a quick short stream on the 26th and then play a little Fortnite on the 27th. So that'll be our, hey, what's up, y'all? Wheels, how you doing? So that's our quick July. We have this really cool thing that we got going on in August as well. We have a great guest scheduled, but I'm not going to tell you who that is just yet because we're lining that up. But let's just say it has something to do with something I just joined recently, and I can't wait to talk to her about that. But anyway, here's what we got. I wrote this down here, so bear with me here. I'm going to read it verbatim because I wrote it, and I was like, I'm going to screw this up if I try to do this by memory. So I'm going to read it out loud so y'all know. Ooh, you might have an idea. For those that have any idea what's new to the channel and all that stuff, you may have an idea who that might be. But we've got a special guest joining us who's not only an amazing content creator, but also a big part of the Twitch community and someone I've wanted to sit down for a while. We've talked about it for a little bit, and then it just kind of fruition today, so I can't wait. So he's a proud member of the Liquid Army and part of Help All People stream team. He's been streaming since 2021 and has built a name for himself just as a phenomenal Stream Raiders captain, but as someone who brings a whole lot of honesty, energy, and heart to everything he does. This phenomenal streamer lives in the Baton Rouge area, but spent a lot of his late 20s and early 30s deep in New Orleans. So he's got some amazing stories, local myths, and culture insight that I promise you're going to love tonight. He's also in the middle of a big life transition. He's changing careers, is working in renewable chemical manufacturing, commuting across states for work, even went back to school to help develop more sustainable alternatives to traditional plastics, all of that while still managing to stream and stay connected with his community. On top of all that, he's been through a lot personally. He lost his dad last year. He's navigating big changes in life and work, and yet he's staying positive, real, and resilient. And we're going to talk all about how he does it. But what a cool fun fact here is he's on a 3-TwitchCon streak and already planning to make it a 4 at TwitchCon 2025 in San Diego this October. So you know he's committed to showing up both on stream and in real life. Did I do that well? Did I do that okay? Okay, so chat. Show some love, throw up some emotes, and help me welcome tonight's guest. And you know him as well as I do. His name in Twitch community is GameCowTV. What's up? What's up? There he is right there. Yeah. I'm going to see a lot of moves in chat, by the way. Just say. Are you still muted? Are you good now? Oh yeah, it's all right. That happens a lot, to be honest.
Oh my god, I'm still muted. Oh my god.
Oh, Garfield, what's going on? How you doing? He's here too. Everybody's here.
Hey Chad, how's it going?
That's all right. I have a punishment when I keep myself muted, but I told you to mute, so that's my fault. That's all my fault.
Imagine I'm still using push to talk and I'm muted myself. I could have avoided this.
Well, welcome all. We've got a whole lot to talk about here, but before we do, obviously the topics are above us. We're going to talk about some New Orleans, his relocation for new job and all that kind of stuff, looking for houses and all that kind of fun stuff. And then also my little graphic I made that's staying positive through it all. So do you want to introduce yourself for those that don't know you? And if there's people out there that don't know you, sorry.
That was a pretty epic introduction already. I don't know what else to really add to that. I mean, hi, I'm GameCow. That's pretty much it after that little bio.
Well, I tried to do my best I can, and I heard some bad news today too. By the way, I mean, it had nothing to do with us or anything, but there's one of my favorite talk shows that is ending next year. They got their news that they're stopping the Late Show, so that's kind of a thing I've modeled my intros on and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be an interesting transition for that. I expect to see it
like the Late Show
with
like
Stephen Colbert?
The show the show that comes on after the news.
Yeah,
they're ending it.
Yeah, they decided that next year is the last year, and they're not carrying it over. They're not finding a replacement or nothing. So I was like, breaking news for everybody, and then everybody sees this on YouTube is going to be like a month later and be like, okay, what's new about this? But I mean, yes.
I mean, I guess part of it makes sense, right? The rise of podcasts making discussions kind of like a ad hoc thing now. But man, I grew up on those, right?
I know.
So like,
I mean, obviously Jimmy Kimmel's still there. I would say Jimmy Fallon's still there and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure Netflix will want to buy him, or something will happen, or he'll do a special like everybody else does. But
it's not the same when you're trying to stay up past your bedtime, Liquid.
I didn't know it, right? It's like, I'm supposed to go to bed at 10, 10:30, 11? What? I'm a late night streamer. I don't know what that means.
Well, no, when you're a kid, right? And your parents are like, bedtime's 9:30, but Natalie Portman's on the Late Show.
Exactly. I want to talk about it. Exactly. Well, before we get into topics above, I try to pick a song every stream, that's about that, and I was like, I didn't ask you if you liked Guns N' Roses, and I found a Guns N' Roses remix to a New Orleans edition, so I hope you liked it. It won't be on the YouTube channel because I'll get banned if I do, but on Twitch I'll get away with it. It'll be muted, whatever. I don't care.
Guns N' Roses are good, right? I mean, during high school, I was probably more an AC/DC guy, but you know, I like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I couldn't find an AC/DC New Orleans edition, but what I kind of want to start out with a couple random questions here with to get to know you a little bit. But like I'm sure I've asked this in the past since you've been streaming a long time, and we've talked a long time. We've become friends since 2022. I mean, even before that, but you know, we met in 2022, and we get to hang out with each other a little bit this year, which is super awesome. I can't wait for that. But explain to me and everybody that's in chat how the name came about. Where did the origins? I was gonna say oranges just because I was making a joke, but oranges of GameCowTV's name.
So the GameCowTV origin, very short, very simple. Back in high school, my high school friend introduced me to Counter-Strike and Half-Life, right? Remember those games? Counter-Strike 1.6, I believe.
Yeah, I do remember like the version of what it was, but not now it is. Yeah.
The terrorists have planted the bomb.
Yeah.
So I played a crap ton of Counter-Strike in high school growing up with him, and we always had the tag Cal. It was like COW, and then whatever our screen name was at that time. I think mine was like Space Cowboy or something like that, because I was obsessed with that dumb movie back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And that NSYNC song. If anybody remembers that, Space Cowboy.
I do remember that song. I mean, I'm a DJ, so I know those songs. If you don't, go look it up because it's pretty good.
It is so iconic of that era. Anyways, so that was my screen name was Cal, the gamer tag Cal, and then Space Cowboy. But as things happen in college, we fall out with my high school buddies, but I still play Counter-Strike. Mm-hmm. And I kept playing on this server, and the people just started calling me Cal and not Space Cowboy. They just kept calling me Cal, right? I was the only person with that game tag.
I mean, that works.
So when I joined them, they were a little gaming guild. I think they went by ATF back then. Named after the alcohol, tobacco, firearms branch of the government, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so when I joined them, I took their clan tag, right, guild tag, and just became ATF Cal. So that was my screen name moving forward.
That's awesome.
And unfortunately, I didn't join Twitch back when you could have grabbed like an iconic 3-letter screen name, right? That would have been too super dope. So Cal is too short for like anything nowadays, right? So I just slapped game on the front of it back in like 2013 when I was thinking about content creation. So it became GameCow.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny how you made it GameCowTV, not GameCowTV, like everybody else was doing. So you're already above the curve calling it something else that wasn't the same as everybody else was calling.
So technically, GameCowTV was created on YouTube back in 2013 as well, and on Twitter. Back in May of 2013, GameCow was a thing. Twitch, I didn't know about Twitch. I didn't think Twitch was going to be a thing. I was one of those naysayers back in 2013.
Yeah, I know how that works. Yep.
Life has a tendency of proving me wrong on a lot of things, like TikTok and and Twitch. So so I didn't join Twitch until effectively 2020, I believe.
Yeah, I think I created my account before that, but didn't really touch it until about 2020. And then, yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah, basically it was during the pandemic was when I created a Twitch because I got thirst trapped on TikTok and followed that person's link to a Twitch and joined. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Oh, that's all right.
I was horny on Maine and it was like, oh well, maybe I'll stream on Twitch too. This person.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I love the origin stories of all the names because everybody has their own story, and like you can, like we've talked. I think you're maybe 14 or 15 guests. I forgot to go back and count, but and each one of them has their own origin story of the name, and that's my favorite part of doing this is learning about somebody, but also learning how the name comes about because. Normally you don't ask that anymore because you jump in the chat, you're like, oh, this person, oh, you press on because you think, oh, you've been streaming for 4 years. No one's want to ask you, oh, how you came up with your name because you've explained it 17,000 times for everybody else that's asked. So nobody asks anymore.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like it. It basically I inherited Cow and then I had to make it longer, right?
Yeah. So then when you went to Twitch and you're like, okay, this is the name, how did you decide, okay, these are going to be my emotes, this is going to be the colors, this is all that kind of stuff? Is it just basically based on that because you knew it was going to do good, or is it something that you loved more because of that kind of setup? I guess
I just embraced Cal, right? My first avatar and I didn't have emotes yet, but my first avatar was like a generic Cal clip art in front of a generic Atari controller clip art. Yeah, I have it somewhere. I probably should send it to chat or something.
That's awesome.
Like it was clip art pasted together in like paint, right? It was very very very
it's how we learn how to do graphics as a new streamer. You just advance as you go. We just started with paint. Yeah, of course we do. Of course we did. It was
so free. Then I just sat down. I was like, look, I'm going to draw circles in paint.net until it looks like a cow, and now it does, and that's my avatar. Oh
my god!
I drew that in paint.net.
Oh my god, that's awesome. All I kept thinking about is when you said embrace the cow, I was like, man, that's got to be a good tagline for farmersonly.com. Either that or
embrace the inner cow. And yeah, TV came about because somebody apparently is already Game Cow on Twitch. How dare they?
I've never looked that up.
Smaller in number, are we?
Yeah, they don't stream anymore. Like literally, they streamed one time while I've been streaming.
All right, just 1 second. Harley, thank you so much for the raid into this awesome night to sit down with GameCow. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will owe you a song here for everybody that knows me and comes into the chat on a normal night. I volunteer to do a song, sing a song for the raid, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I had to talk over that because I keep forgetting that every time that I post that on YouTube, I get like, oh, this stream has been banned in this country because you played this song. But no, you're good. I appreciate it. I come on in. I appreciate it. Matt Harley, if you're not following Matt Harley, go check her out because she's freaking fantastic. So to catch up here a little bit, we're talking about the history of the name of GameCow. So in the last 4 years or something, you've been around for a while. It has been almost 4 years. How have you seen the evolution of stream? And then is there anything particular that you say, oh, I would love to see the evolution go to here? Like, how would you want that to go if you were going to keep continuing to stream?
Well, so interestingly enough, right, we've seen streaming go from, people streaming games from their computers to now a lot of the popular categories across the ecosphere, right? Not just Twitch, but your TikToks, your Instagram, your YouTube, It's a lot of in real life streaming, just IRL streaming,
There
right?
is a lot. Yeah.
People out on the street hanging out, people in people in their basement hanging out, people doing like impromptu pseudo podcasts, just chilling, right? That has taken an interesting turn where it used to just be people who were bored playing Minecraft or Counter Strike or streaming their League of Legends tournaments to I mean, I don't watch Kai Sinet, but it's just dudes in a plain room, right? Like hanging out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I totally love those type of sit downs, and that's kind of what sparked this one. Is like I really wanted to sit down and get to know other people, and the only way to do that is kind of force people to come on the show. And I don't even have a name for the show either. I just let's just sit down and co-host and just have a good time. That's how I see it too. So you think that the future of like Twitch is going to be more in real life streaming versus gaming and all that kind of stuff that they have?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's always still going to be a gaming element because that's kind of like the technology's baked into it. And Twitch has a whole development side that's trying to do more Twitch integrations within games, like chat responsive integrations and that kind of stuff, beyond just a bot reading to see if you join the queue.
Yeah.
There's a whole, because the other side of me is I'm a basement developer, so I do know about some of those inner workings of Twitch, and there's like a Unity package for that. So yeah, I think there's always going to be a gaming component to Twitch because that's its history. It's like you can't get it out. It's the blood. But at the end of the day, the popular channels are going to be your IRL.
No, I agree with
that they're going to bring in the viewers.
Yeah.
While the cool content is still going to be your gamers.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree to that, and I think it comes down to the point where, like, what do you want to see? Do you want to watch someone play a game, or do you want to watch somebody like, cook some eggs or do that live and actually have interaction of that person? Because I think that's the reason why like streaming and Twitch and Kick and all those other, all the programs that's ever been, there's Mixer, what all those other ones that have been around. The reason why it's so popular is because it's more of an interactive TV versus just sitting down on the couch and just zombie it watching TV. Like, I still like it, but I like being more interactive, chatting with the person and having that person react at the same time. So and if you do an interview, let's say like it's a show you watch, I'll just use, I don't know, like Stranger Things, something that's super popular, and someone's sitting down with them and you're actually able to ask them live questions, people are going to be more interested in doing that than just watching the show in general. So I totally agree with the in real life stuff.
Oh yeah. It's fascinating, right? You kind of look at the evolution of media. Right. Back in the day, you went to a theater, right? Shakespeare and whatnot. You would go to a theater, sit in the peanut gallery, and throw peanuts at the stage. Mm-hmm. And then radio came through, and then you lost that crowd interaction because you became a passive listener.
Yep.
Radio, television, and now we're kind of full circle back with live content on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because while there was live broadcasts, right, live broadcast TV, live broadcast radio, you weren't interactive. You were just witnessing it in real time, but you weren't. It wasn't like you were at the presidential debate, the first one ever between like, who was it, Nixon and somebody else, I think back in the day.
Yeah,
like where people think that first presidential debate cost that election because the one candidate looked sick or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of like back in the day when you were talking, like even in that instance, you have people that were voted in as president that were in wheelchairs because they didn't know. Would they have voted for that person if they knew they were in a wheelchair at the time? Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah.
That was like what FDR had like polio, right? And complications from that.
Yeah, something. Yeah. So I'm like, everybody has to have that on stage presence to be able to be popular enough to be voted in. So I totally understand that one.
So yeah, now we're kind of like full back to being the peasants in the peanut gallery throwing peanuts peanuts at our
Well, yeah.
Our content creator.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the transition next is. You know, it's gonna
Right, because yeah, well, we've seen it on Twitch. You come in with your content, right? But something always happens. It's live broadcasting, right?
Yeah.
Your internet hiccups, or you get bombarded by a hacker in your game, right?
Yeah.
And that, or who knows? You have a pet that comes in and creates chaos everywhere. Like,
ain't that the truth?
like anything could happen, right? You could be live on stream and then get SWAT raided because somebody was a jerk, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah. It's weird how you have to, that normal people, as we call it, the peasants or however, now have to learn how to deal with all that never had to do before. And we're just watching newscasts and like, yeah, they're dealing with all that live, stage, with the teleprompter and all that stuff. And now teleprompters are available for everybody now. So I mean, it's
it's a little Elgato add-in, right?
Exactly.
You can buy it and have it right above your webcam, and people wouldn't even know.
No,
I was tempted to get it just to put chat up there.
That is a great idea. Yeah, I mean, that's a great. I mean, I thought about it and it was like, man, if I had endless money, that might have been like something I would have bought already. But yeah.
I thought about having scrolling chat. That way, chat could scroll, and I could just look up periodically.
Yeah,
it'd be right there near the camera, and I can actually talk at chat, right? But
yeah,
I think my favorite troll currently is the dude that's like brings a Dr. Pepper to like an IRL streamer. He just quietly gets into frame and drops off the Dr. Pepper and like leaves. Like dude just like crashes IRL streams with a Dr. Pepper. It's like the most innocent trolling.
Yeah.
Currently for these IRL streamers, and they're like, dude, who is what the heck is a Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, no, you see the hand, you're like, who is that? Like who's
yeah, he like
man?
sneaks in for like they're at a traditional like a Korean karaoke bar or whatever, right? With a private room. And like a sneaky hand comes in with a Dr. Pepper and things it on the table.
How far we've come of not finding a Starbucks cup in a TV show or something. Anybody get that reference? I'm just saying. Anybody?
I've noticed that every content creator like doesn't discuss brands they use unless they have a deal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're still getting to know you before we get to the topics above me, because I want to hear some stories and stuff like that. As a lover of Stream Raiders, and and I keep talking about this because there's so many people that we've met. I mean, like, would I have met you if it wasn't for Stream Raiders? Yeah, probably eventually, but it brought into that introduction a little bit sooner because of Stream Raiders. And we there's a lot of people out there that love Stream Raiders, no matter how they worked their development, I should say. But when you were in Stream Raiders and you were developing those skins and all that kind of stuff, how did you decide all those development skins, and then how did you bring in that community and keep it going with that? Yeah.
So I want to, as it's easy, I have a screen name that builds its own brand, right? Yeah. GameCowTV. So, it's a dude who's a cow that plays games on TV. It's very straightforward. So, branding, right?
Yeah,
I wanted to keep either the skins tied to a brand, right, or just off the wall nonsense, because sometimes you just build that kind of community, right? Somebody drops that 100 skin bomb, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna thank you by like letting you design the skin, because like that's stupidly ridiculous what you did. That's a lot of money for some dude that like streams from a crappy PC.
I mean, whatever. Yeah.
But so yeah, a lot of them were just themed. Like when I started playing Stream Raiders and I wanted to get into it, I wanted to get skin in the game, right? That's the classic quote that people would say, right?
Yeah.
I sat down and was like, all right, cow themed or adjacent for every unit, and I went through, and one of the captains I followed and I enjoyed way back in the day was F5, and we were kind of in our puns era, our dad joke era.
Oh yeah.
So that's where a lot of some of the skins came from, like the butter R churn, right? It was a butter churner. that was an archer. And that's like cow adjacent, right? You make butter from milk, and it shot sticks of butter. It shot sticks of butter.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Like, so we stuck with that. Cow themed. Like my bomber was we have a local dairy called Klein Peter here. You know, and back in the 90s, their character was like an old bald farmer.
Yeah.
And that was the character. I found an old picture of it, be like this. He throws milk jugs, like the old school milk jugs when your parents got delivered by the milkman, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I still don't understand how that even. I mean, maybe I need to do some more research, but when they delivered that, it was a different style of milk that we drink now, because now it has to stay cooled. Before, it was just in jars. Like it would sit out in front step for hours. I would think that would ruin it, but they must have had different processing back then.
I don't know. That's that would be something to kind of look up, I guess. It was delivered at a very cold temperature, and that was back in the day when there was like a dedicated milk slot, right?
Oh, you'd have to. Yeah, you would think so. Yeah. Now I'm learning more stuff now. I've got to write that down because I'm gonna have to look that up. It's gonna bother me.
We got a Wikipedia that shit now, man. We got our smart computers everywhere on us.
You ever done that where it's like you're having a conversation, you're like, oh man, like back in the day when you used to sit at the pubs and you used to do like trivia and stuff, it'd all be a memory, but now it's like you never have the good like pub talks anymore because you can look up all the answers. There's no argument of this person has the right answer or not. You can just look it up and know the answer. I miss those.
I'm hard headed. I won't look things up until I absolutely have to. You know,
until someone disagrees with you, you're like, I'm gonna prove you wrong
now. I'm on that cusp. I came of age before the cell phone was like anything beyond a goofy way of texting people at 10 cents a text. So like.
Same.
But like where I came of age when you didn't want to get on the internet on your phone because that was a mistake.
Oh yeah. Like we were just talking about this in the pre-show. So y'all, if you've never done this before, and if you've never been in the hot seat before, we have a little tiny pre-show beforehand. We talk a little bit, and yeah, you learn really quick about certain things, and yeah, don't look certain things up on your work computers.
Well, right now. But yeah, so that I forgot where my train of thought was.
No, you're good. We're talking about Stream Raiders and stuff like that.
Oh, Stream Raider skins. Yeah, so I stuck with the cow theme, right?
Yeah.
Some of the skins were like cows as game characters, right? My musketeer, because I want to jiggle physics like everybody else in that game. Exactly. It was Lara Croft themed with 4 boobies.
Yeah.
They did a good job. It was like a small canvas.
Do they ever push back on any of the ideas? I mean, I've never been someone said no, we can't do that unless it's like copyrighted. But when you said, hey, I want like a cow or something like that with 4 boobs, did they say yes?
There was no pushback on that. I'd have to look at my conversation with River back in the day, because River was my manager back then. Yep. Before they changed the way that they did skin submissions. Mm-hmm. I don't think I got pushback on any of mine, but none of mine really traded or trended against like trademarks like that. I think the Lara Croft one was probably the closest I got, but like it was obviously a nod and not a straight up Lara Croft in the game, right?
Yeah,
like it was very obviously I take that back. Maybe the closest one would have been my epic skin that was like cow from Cow and Chicken, because it looked very similar in likeness, but it wasn't like the exact sharp edges as cow. It was just the same generic color, but it was more round and fat.
So
then it turned into Super Cow from that show, if you remember Super Cow.
I actually do, because and to be funny is if you would have asked me that 2 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't have known. But because I did the deep dive on cows and I was like, he's gonna bring up this. I want to look at this up. I'm gonna make sure I have my knowledge base. But yeah.
You're making me look up. So I have a OneNote of all the skins I wanted to submit.
Like I do. I mean, mine. And I mean, we're here to talk about you, but like the skins that I had were all based on something else, so they did kind of push back a little bit. But when you start pulling like ideas from like, I call it the B side of a record for people that know records that most people don't know about, and only very few people know the songs on the B side. They were really good at knowing that looks copyrighted, and then they have to look it up and they say, oh, that's borderline, we need to change it up a little bit. But they were very on top of knowing in the deep cuts of things that you're pulling from, which I was pretty shocked about. While we were talking about like stream raiders and stuff like that, I kind of said in the introduction that you're going to TwitchCon this year, like in the transition from like stream raiders to TwitchCon. Can you explain what you kind of wanted to do at TwitchCon? We did find out that, obviously they passed on the idea, but then they went with other people. But the idea was solid, and I want you to tell everybody, because if we're not doing it this year, that everybody should know about that idea. So
yeah, I'm very upset because my consolation was a 10% off coupon. But if I wanted to help a friend like get a refund on their ticket, I can't use the code. So like Twitch is dumb, and I'm really annoyed with them.
Shocking.
But I mean, I get it, and it's probably not a Twitch thing. It's Ticket Fairy or whatever vendor.
Yeah.
Whatever vendor they went with. I doubt it's an actual Twitch thing, because I don't remember using that service last year.
Yeah, it's a new service for sure. Because they didn't do it last year, because I don't remember it being like, oh, if you bought a ticket and you use this code to buy other ones to get discounted on what you have. So
yeah, and I think that's a vendor thing,
yeah,
right? I think
definitely.
like because it yeah. So I wanted to help out a friend, and then I was like, okay, I'll still help out my friend, but it's dumb that I don't get my early bird special if I use the promo code. That's super annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, but to answer your question, yeah, what I wanted to host a panel, and I'm still interested in doing this. So maybe I got a year now to kind of like polish it, right? And make the right connections with some former Captain TV people, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just like cold emailing their new workplace email.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But the concept is to like rebuild or rehabilitate your community after like your main game content ends, right?
Yeah.
The title was like continuing after a hard game reset or something like that, like or a hard game over.
That's a great concept, because there's so many people that have based their content around a game. We'll use stream raiders because that's what we're talking about, but like there's so many other games that are out there that have lost interest or lost whatever. So how do you transition from your content that you have to something brand new? I mean, it does.
Yeah, because games end. Stream raiders is a classic example of like, it's a server-based games, and servers don't stay on forever. Eventually, like, servers turn off. WoW is like the exception to the rule, right? WoW is probably now the oldest running server game.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft doesn't count because you host your own servers, right?
Yep.
But like when the company hosts and deals with all the upper end of the legwork, right? When the game ends, you might have some questionable private servers, like back in the day of Asheron's Call and whatnot. But
yeah. It's
not the same experience, right? So when a game ends, games end. What do you do? How do you pivot? How do you keep your community? How do you maintain momentum, as you will?
Yeah.
In your content creation storyline, right? What do you do? And we were all faced with this, right? I invited a decent diversity of old school captains who were there in the very beginning, right? They won a code back in the day when Captain TV went to like their first TwitchCon or whatever.
Yep.
They won a lottery to get a code to be hosting the game. To us, who kind of joined later on in the Stream Raider timeline, to another captain who joined near the end of Captain TV, right? So we all had our different phases of the company. Saw it explode on itself at various stages along the way.
No, yeah, for sure. Like,
and I tried and didn't get a Captain TV person, but that would have been cool.
yeah, I like when we sat down with CTV Sister and talked about behind the scenes and how it closed down and all that kind of stuff. It was interesting to hear the backstory and behind the scenes of it getting to the point where it was done, and it, like you said, with the transition from one to another, how do you like? And we've talked about this offline a little bit, and I won't say names, but like when you have a streamer that's 100% this game and it goes off, and then like you used to, your Twitch, partner, you're focused on this game, everything's this, and you're 100+ viewers all the time, and then all of a sudden that game goes away, and then you go down to like 15 or 20. How do you regroup and how do you start over and how do you like I said, like regroup for that? Like it was a very great concept, and maybe people don't understand how much of a great concept that was, because most people diversify their streaming a little bit. But like I know Call of Duty streamers that are 100% Call of Duty, and then what if they decided to go away? What would those streamers do? Like it's the same. It's the concept of planning for sure.
Yeah, no, same concept. Or that that version of Call of Duty, right? I don't know what. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I think I got all my games for free when I bought PCs, right?
Yeah, I used to be, but I haven't touched that game in a while, to be honest with you. No,
yeah. What happens? What happens when that goes away? What happens if they decide for bad reasons to not come out with Call of Duty anymore? Like, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah,
That's what. And it was going to be panel led, so it was more open ended. People can talk about. It was a good space to talk about their feelings. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was disheartening for a lot of people, and we all had mixed feelings. So everybody could come from their perspective.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a former member of their dev streams, the former community manager, but I think he was on vacation during that 1 week period I had to try to gather people.
Oh, of course.
And that happens, right? It was kind of last minute. So now I have a full year to like build the contacts, build the content.
Yeah.
Submit a nice polished deck to the Twitch team as opposed to just like a vibe paragraph, right?
Yeah. No, I get that. I think it's with it being almost a year and a half now, if you're positioned at next year. It'll be a year and a half. There'll be probably the replacements are out. How do you, transition from one game to another? All that kind of stuff would be added to that as well.
Oh yeah. And I could maximize the panel the best I can, right?
Yeah.
I still think it's a conversation that should be had. Maybe I need to reframe the title a bit, or maybe I'll look at the content and maybe it was repetitive with something else that somebody was doing.
Maybe, yeah. We'll
something I've always seen at TwitchCon was like how to diversify your content, and yeah, that's technically the same boat, but like I wanted it within the reference of something that literally had just happened, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like it's a missed opportunity for Twitch, because even if people weren't like a religious user of Captain TV, I've come across a lot of people who at least knew what Stream Raiders was, and they've been Twitch people forever. Like they weren't players, but they played it when it was hot, peak pandemic, and everybody was stuck at home. So like,
oh yeah,
everybody was familiar with at least like the concept of it, and a lot of people knew what Nitro was, right, because of the sponsored streams that they had during that release. So
the money they spent on the sponsor streams for sure. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so you got all that kind of stuff, right? So
yeah. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions and we'll start getting into the categories, because I feel like we've got to know you a little bit more, but I want to get into a couple of fun stories. Since you're a TwitchCon veteran, and that's what I'm going to call that because this will be your 4th year in a row going, can you tell me and tell chat the story of being stepped on?
So, I think it was Vegas. I think that was the Vegas year. I'd have to look at the timestamps. I was on the convention floor minding my own damn business, not paying attention, and I randomly pulled up back in the day Twitter, right? This was before it changed its name. And and Amaranth had just posted that she was doing like an impromptu meet and greet on the convention floor at this location, and I turned around and like there she was.
just like hold on. yeah, exactly.
And it was like she had just posted it like 3 minutes ago, and I turned around and there she is with her team like setting up, and I'm just like, whatever. This will probably be the only time I'll be able to hop into a line for her and not wait forever, right? Like, why not? Why not? Like, I made the short walk to get into the short line. And walked up, and we were about to do a traditional photo, and she's like, "What? You don't want me stepped on?" I'm like, "I didn't think about it, but sure."
I mean,
like that didn't cross my mind. But, yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, that didn't. I'll be honest, that didn't fire the brain cells. So like, I'm not opposed. I just didn't. That wasn't my default.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she stepped on me. You know, all she did was place her foot. Right?
Well, yeah, but it's a great picture because I was like I said, I do a deep dive on everybody, and I try to find that. I saw the picture. I'm like, oh, we got to talk about that a little bit too.
I was pseudo involved with her community back then too. I would troll. She would do a rate chat sequence, and I posted a selfie I had done in the TwitchCon hotel the prior year in San Diego.
So it had to been 2023 then.
Yeah. So because I have that TwitchCon, I brought my cow masks, even though I didn't wear them because it was hot.
Yeah, exactly. I had mine. Yeah. I was like, it stayed on for as it going through the front because they're like, keep your mask on, and as you walked by, it just kind of slowly dropped and never came back up.
So I put on my latex cow mask, and I posted that selfie in her like rate chat. She's like, some of y'all are weird, but like, holy mother milkers, I wanna milk them cow titties.
That's what they say when they join her chat.
I think I recorded that because I wanted to somehow make it like an audio thing in my stream. I just couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out how to get her to say, "I want to milk them, mommy milkers," or whatever she said.
If you still have it, send it over to me. I'll make it happen. I've done so much with so many audio files that you'd be amazed.
Let me see. I think I sent it to Paul Pears, and let me see if I can find it.
That's awesome. So while you're trying to find that, like, what makes you come back to TwitchCon? Like, why is TwitchCon such an attractive event to go back and forth, since this will be your 4th year going in a row?
It's gonna be the re-meeting all the people that you met previously. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna download it. Downloading it. Sending it to you on Discord.
All right, I'll check it out.
Gonna make the.
Yeah,
you're gonna make this happen.
I'll make it happen. Yeah. We'll talk about that offline a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, you can make that a command and let it go off anytime, especially or sound effects or channel points or Twitch. Yeah, thank you for that. But anyway, so meeting people, like, that's your reason for
re-meeting people. Sometimes you meet a new vendor. The very first TwitchCon I went to, I was trying to work with one of the studios that works with Sega as a distributor. They make the Endless games.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to work with them some, but I didn't really care for the game. It was a roguelite. And it was hard.
It was hard. I mean, Harley's in chat. She can tell us for that. Shout out to the 504. Exactly.
It was a very hard game. Endless Dungeon is a very hard game. I liked it, but also got very frustrated because I died way too many times and got frustrated and mad. It's not the type of game I stream because it's not fun. It's torturous.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah. John Slice is great. It's a great game. It's a great game, but I try not to curse too much on stream. But all I did on the game was like f this, f that. I can't believe I made those choices and it sent me these things instead. Like, it's one of those things where you make calculated bets and it could go against you later, right? It's a roguelite. you make your decision, your strategy, and then the game will be like, no, I rolled this instead, so F you.
Yeah, it's not like the adventure books where you skip to the next page and you're like, no, I didn't pick that page.
Basically, yeah, it's like, oh well, yeah, I would have won if I upgraded my defense instead of offense that round. Screw you, game.
It's not a forgiving. Yeah, it's not a forgiving game. Yeah,
yeah, it's not forgiving. I mean, it really,
not at all.
So my favorite game that I suck at is Hades. I suck at it. I've only beaten Hades, the end boss, once. I'm not good at that game, but it's still fun. It's still a fun game to me.
Yeah,
it's a fun roguelike game that I will keep playing even though I suck at it. Endless Dungeon I sucked at, and it wasn't fun to keep playing.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, the rogue games that I mean, I'm a huge God of War fan, and I could play every God of War game that they ever make. And they made Valhalla game that's like a roguelike, and I played that for maybe like a couple hours. And because you had to repeat things over and over again, and if I have to keep repeating things over and over again, I get frustrated, and I'm like, I'm done. Like I must love this franchise, but this version, it's not for me. Like
there's a way to do it. I think what Hades does is, one, the character building. Every time you play, you get more and more storyline. I think that's what brings you and draws you in. Even if you suck at it, you still get to hear and build the character and the lore. And I think that's what brings you in. Even though, like I said, I've watched streamers that were like, blood level is like increasing difficulty in Hades, and I barely beat him once. I think I beat him only once. So
I get that. Yeah. I would say, what is your like favorite moment from like TwitchCons before we move into like talking about New Orleans and the area and stuff like that? Like have you got anything specifically professionally out of it, or like have you just like not just networking, of course, but like going there and say, yeah, I learned this and this is what I've always stood by, or like I've learned this and this is what I carry on as I go?
I mean, I think my favorite are just memories with hanging out with the people. I mean, you try to network, you try to do the professional thing, like you talk to game studios, and you find out that they already have their set people. It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes you go to a bar event and you run into like one of the smaller vendor groups. Like this past TwitchCon, a group of us went out after the Twitch party. We walked to a bar and like ran into the people who were running Stream Chatters. Was a small table.
Oh yeah, okay.
In the indie dev group that year, and you find out from them that they paid a handsome sum of money to have that little table, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just a small little group, basically streamers that created a game, kind of like the opposite of Captain TV. They went out and got like millions of dollars of seed funding, right? These are just people making a game in their basement.
Yeah.
So you run into them and you have a fun random time with like people you wouldn't have met otherwise. They get drunk, you get drunk, and you're just like, yeah, we're all drunk.
yeah. That is the best moments, because I mean, like I think I met Regiment, which is a military organization, one time. I was just in the cabana, and they saw my hat on because it was military-ish, and they're like, "You military?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then started talking, drinking with them, and yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I do like those. I have never gone to one of the panels that we've been talking about, but this year I definitely am going to find a couple because I want to see if I can learn something. Let's put it that way. Like something.
So yeah, what I think we can do offline is whenever they post the panels, I can tell you what panels are complete waste.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because there is stuff that's highly repetitive. I've been to them, and they're an absolute waste. You wouldn't learn anything that you don't already know, that you've already grabbed from like a YouTube or
that's good,
another yapper. But
yeah.
So we can try to go through it. I have been to some panels that were useful.
That's good.
But a lot of them aren't.
I mean, like, yeah, because I mean, like, you have other streamers that come in and say, "I want to talk about me," and that's all. Like, it turns out to be. I'm sure some of those end up being that way. So, I definitely don't want to waste my time on those. I think CBC and I and a few others were just running around for giveaways majority of 2022.
Oh yeah, that's also. I mean, look, if that's your bag, go for it. But I also think it's a little bit of a waste because you have to be there, present at that booth.
Yeah. I mean, if you know exactly what time for like 20 minutes, like it's going to be there, and you pick up your ticket at the beginning of the day, and then you're like, okay, be there, okay, fine, but not.
And then you have to like follow all these socials or do a social media post or do this to get more tickets. It's not. It's not worth it.
Yeah, Western Digital was the only one that was decent then because it was like you walk up, you got a ticket. They drew 3 times in the day, and you knew what time they were going to show there, so you can walk up. They give away a few things for that hour, then you can go do your whatever you want for 6 hours later, and then come back again. That was the only thing I liked about that one because you didn't have to do all that bullshit. Okay, so we're finally into the topics a little bit. Got a little bit to know GameCow as a person, what he's doing and all that kind of stuff here. I do skip around with the questions. He understands what the value of this is, and I really want to get into this a little bit here. I've never been to New Orleans. I know there's a few people in chat that's never been there. I kind of just want to start with like something simple, like if I was to travel to New Orleans and like what would be your suggestions on going to see and kind of visit and all that kind of stuff?
I know all the local people are gonna hate me, but I think if you're going to New Orleans, like you have to go to the French Quarter at least once, like just to see the nonsensical chaos of it.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to some tourist traps, it has those elements to it. I won't hate you for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It has some elements of a traditional tourist trap. Like I don't know if you've ever been to like a mountain town like Little Rock or
I've been to a lot of
what is that? Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge up in Tennessee.
Yep.
Like there's just some gimmicky things there. New Orleans Bourbon Street will have some gimmicks. It will have overpriced pizza along the street.
Fair enough, yeah.
And snacks. It'll have like questionable strip clubs, but it's still an experience. The French Quarter is historic, right?
Yeah.
It's the history of New Orleans. The French Quarter is like the original downtown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like where the hustle and bustle of the city was, where the original port was.
Yeah, I think I would try to, and I'm sure that they do this too. But I would probably do like a originals tour to see where they shot the originals. Like I'm a big fan of that show, so I want to see where all the areas where they filmed all that stuff, which would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, so with New Orleans being, I mean, sadly, I think Louisiana got rid of their tax credit for filmmaking. Thanks to our politicians. But back in the day, we gave tax credits to filmmakers, and they would come down to Louisiana spots and film. Right, so yeah, Louisiana, New Orleans was a happening spot because we got old plantation style housing, right? That there's not many other states that have that kind of setting right next to a creepy bayou, so you kind of can do a whole shoot for a film depending on your theme. Right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of Hollywood type tours, I would call them, right? Go see where this thing was filmed. Go see where this famous movie star or author lived when they worked down here in the area.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that love to, like, when I do the military trips, I like, oh, this is the bench where why did I just draw a blank? Forrest Gump sat on, so I'm like, I gotta sit on the bench and take a picture. Just
right. So like that, yeah. So New Orleans has military history, right? Exactly. The War of 1812.
Yeah.
The war literally ended, but this was back in the day when communication was by like horse and pony, and so the last battle happened after the treaty was signed, right?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, slavery ended a year later after they signed it because it just took forever for everybody to understand what was that about. Yeah, I totally understand that. So speaking of
Battle of Orleans,
speaking of areas and stuff like that, like obviously those are the touristy traps. Like what are areas that you remember, being there for and enjoying and saying, yeah, I have memories here. This is like, give a good story of like one of the memories of somewhere in that area.
So New Orleans has its tourist area, right? But there's the areas around town with rich history. Um, they have names like Canal Street, Uptown, the Garden District. They're established neighborhoods with local eateries and local businesses that like those are the things that you go to day every day with your friends that are in the area,
Hmm.
right? You go down to get a local pub, a local po' boy from that eatery, or you go to Mama's to eat some traditional spaghetti sauce with that delicious gravy,
Hmm.
or you get your red beans and rice on Monday, um,
Yeah.
with that slab of fried pork or fried chicken.
Is that
It's
like
it's the it's.
is
Well,
that
go
the
ahead.
is that the go-to comfort food for that area?
Well, the traditional story, red beans and rice, is that like Monday was laundry day, and you're busy doing all the laundry, taking the laundry down to the river or wherever watering hole where you did your laundry, and
Yeah.
so you just set a pot of beans to boil while you're off doing all your chores, and then you find whatever leftover meat you had, and that's your meat dish with red beans.
Oh, okay.
That's their traditional story. That came about. Monday was the day to do all your chores, so you
Hmm.
made a lazy dinner.
No, that makes sense. I would I always love the culture and unlearning things like that because I would never have known that was a Monday. Like why would that
Oh
be?
yeah, Monday in New Orleans. It's red beans and rice. It's a crime to eat anything else. No, I'm picking, but it is it is a very traditional dish to eat. It's comforting.
Yeah.
Right. I prefer my red beans to be a little bit on the mushy side, smashed a little bit, so you have kind of like a bean hummus
Yeah.
type with your red beans. Some people like them, intact and liquidy, but it's a good little comfort dish.
So that's the comfort food for Mondays. Is there something like say, okay, I'm going to come down for the very first time to New Orleans and I want to experience, different foods and stuff like that. What would you suggest me to go to?
Well, I can. So it depends.
Okay.
You can either go to places that have history, like the house that was supposed to be Napoleon's house during the Napoleon era. He never came. He never came. But like, if he had, it would have been his house.
Yeah.
That's a nice little restaurant that has history to it. It
Yeah.
was like it's like the longest running restaurant in New Orleans, or one of the few, right? So, is it good? It's okay. I wouldn't rank it as a top 10 place, but
Yeah.
like it's not bad,
Okay.
right?
So that's your history channel.
So if you want a history tour, yes. If you
Yeah.
want the best version of things though,
Yeah.
there's other places,
Okay.
right? So it's one of those things where it really depends. It depends. Do you want to feel fancy and eat where like the French nobles would have eaten, or the French generals back in the day when we were French controlled, or do you want to eat the best of the best that the city has to offer, right?
Hmm.
And some of those places, it's like New Orleans and Cajun Creole, more Creole, less Cajun, but Creole fused with other flavor profiles, like your Tex-Mex and your Thai, or
Yeah.
your French. So
No, that makes sense. Like, what would you like? Where would like if you were gonna take me out to lunch and I didn't care where would you suggest, or where would we meet up? I mean, I'm just
try
trying to get out. Like, hey, for
yeah.
those that've never been there before,
I think the first place we would go, right when you come off the train, I think we would go to Acme Oyster House. It's very, I mean, there's lots of places around town and around the state. It's become a chain, right? Just like everything else.
Sounds like
But
John agrees too. John and
yeah,
John.
I think we would go and get oysters. That's the first thing that you have to do when you're here.
Mm,
I think that's a rule.
I'm okay with that.
If you come during crawfish season, we would get crawfish first thing.
Oh,
But that's not an all year affair. You don't want to get crawfish off season. That stuff's imported in.
yeah.
If it's in season, we would go to some place that would. Yeah, everyone has their
Yeah.
restaurant list.
So what
Yeah,
what
'cause
is what season is the crawfish then? Because I mean, obviously, if that's what I want to have. That's definitely where I want to go. Like, when is that?
It varies, but I would say that the peak is like January-ish to what is it, like May?
Well, I mean, that's a good way to bring people down. Yeah, for sure.
The late winter, early spring is peak crawfish when they're the biggest, I would say.
So right before
it varies because it depends on like how hot of a summer it was, how they bred, how they winterized.
Oh, okay.
But because crawfish bury underground and they eat themselves and eat each other during the in-between time. So it really depends on a lot of other factors. But
yeah,
I would say that's when the crawfish boils start happening is like spring.
So then when exactly is Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras varies too, because Mardi Gras is tied to the Catholic calendar, the Catholic religious calendar.
Yeah.
I think it's officially so many days after the Epiphany or something like that, and that shifts every year. I'm not Catholic. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, me neither. But I get it. Like, I was raised Catholic, for those, but I'm not that way anymore.
but for those who are Catholic, right? It follows Ash Wednesday, right? Mardi Gras is the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, and Easter, and for those who are familiar with Easter moves around the calendar, right?
Yeah.
So Mardi Gras can be as early as like February and as late as like March.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. So then, like, if you come down from Mardi Gras, you're in that crawfish timeline, so it should be good at that time.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever been down there during Mardi Gras?
Yes. I've done the tourist thing. Mardi Gras is crazy. That's when I would say don't go to Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Because I don't care for crowds, and that's when it's the crowd. It's crowded. It's wall-to-wall people. It's wall-to-wall people, and all you do is you walk on beads because it's just nothing but trash on the street.
Right.
All the beads that people drop or people don't want, and it just like clutters the gutters. It's just nothing but walking on beads. St. Patrick's Day is a good time. Yeah, March. Since St. Patrick's Day is consistent, it's always like that second week of March or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not Catholic. I don't know when St. Patrick's Day is, but
is that like the 17th or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, and so that the Saturday around St. Patrick's Day is like the parades around both Baton Rouge has a decent parade and New Orleans has a parade.
So it falls in a good time around like spring break. So then that's why it's always so busy and people come down, and all that kind of stuff. So it's
Louisiana students are spoiled because we basically get 2 spring breaks. We get Mardi Gras.
Because how do you live around there? Yeah, for sure.
We get Mardi Gras, and then we get whatever Easter is. So it's very wild to go off to, because I did attempt to go to school in Illinois at one point, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's Mardi Gras break?
Yeah. It's like, don't I get 2 weeks around this time?
What? Oh my gosh! What do I do? There's like a long stint of school.
I couldn't imagine trying to do school at the same time when like the touristy, huge in the area. I couldn't imagine that. That's probably
you can't. If you're going to a New Orleans university, I doubt you can do anything.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they're down there. There's University of New Orleans, UNO. There's Tulane. Tulane's probably the larger one out of the two. And there's a couple like smaller liberal arts schools. Xavier is down there, if I remember correctly. There's a
Privateers. Yeah. Nice.
And then there's like a seminary school. I forget their name, or maybe there's 2 of them down there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different secondary education institutions. Yeah, you just get off for. You may not get off for the full week. A lot of places are just off Monday, Tuesday, just to avoid the nonsense and traffic.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like what the prices are for how they skyrocket during those area, the timelines and things like that. So I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, the closer you are to where all the action is, the higher your hotel price is going to be.
Oh yeah.
In college, we rented a hotel room like right outside of the outskirts and just commuted into the parades. But yeah, if you want to be live on the action and have a room in the quarter during all the Mardi Gras, you're paying them.
You ain't sleeping. You ain't sleeping there either. I'm saying if you're gonna be there, I'm sure it's loud 24/7 for a couple days for sure. I've like with military, I've traveled like a lot of different areas and stuff like that, and you mentioned a comment like, oh, the locals might think this. Was there a area where you wouldn't recommend tourists to go to because the locals might like treat you differently if you were in that area where you might not want to travel? Because I know when I went to Hawaii, there was always a list like, hey, military, you go here, these are the areas you can go to, but we would recommend not to go these areas. And we always went to those areas because it was on the list, because they're like, yeah, if you're going to give me a list of where not to go, that's exactly where I want to go there.
We're going to be defiant. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that New Orleans has places that, I mean, look, New Orleans is a rowdy city. So you're going to be hard pressed to be out rowdy New Orleans. You have to be a very specific kind of asshole to piss off piss off a New Orleans person, like a New Orleans New Orleanian. Not to say that there aren't people that dislike tourists, because tourists can muck up things, and and especially the era of influencers and everybody's on their camera filming things, that can be kind of annoying. But that's almost true anywhere. And there are sections of New Orleans that have higher property related crimes, carjackings, theft.
Yeah, like everywhere.
Like those would be the places that I wouldn't park my car there at night unless you just do not care if you come back to busted windows. Or it being gone if it's like a certain Subaru or certain Honda, whatever car it was that was like the most popular stolen on social media 2 years ago.
I keep thinking like, because there's only a few areas that I can like come up with. I'm sure there's more, but there's only a few areas in the United States that tourism goes to, like cemeteries and stuff. And I know like DC has one, and I know New Orleans has them and stuff like that. Like just those areas that have touristies to cemeteries, it just seems weird to me. So I'm like, that's why I was wondering how that comes about.
Yeah. So DC is because of Arlington, right? Yeah. DC has the large military cemetery, which I've been to as a kid. Very cool place to
gets in the feels visit. For sure. Yeah.
And down in New Orleans, it's just the history of the area, the classic voodoo culture that came about, the hauntings, and the fact that a lot of this, what are they called? Sarcophaguses.
Yeah, I know.
They're built up, right? They're not. The traditional cemetery you see in movies are like just a tombstone. Buried in the ground. But you have a lot of like instead of the casket being buried in the ground, the casket is encased in like a cement block above ground, right?
I mean, you see that on movies and TV shows all the time, but like to have somebody like to say, okay, well, I'm going somewhere to visit on vacation, to go to a cemetery, it just seems weird to me, but it's common for certain areas. So I mean,
so I would say you have to do a cemetery tour when you're in town. There's a couple that are better than others, because it depends, right? Do you want to be spooked? Or do you want to learn some rich history? Because you can get one from one tour company and the other from the other tour company, because they'll bring you to the more darker, seedier, scary feeling.
So is the
low light.
Is the hauntings actually like a real theory, or is it actually like you believe actually certain areas are haunted in that area?
like when you're talking to a scientist, or you're gonna get my science answer.
I know,
of like,
that's
no,
why I ask you, because I know exactly.
It's like no, they're not real. What they are is we are very simple-minded monkeys in our brain, and when we hear noises or get stimuli, right, and we piece things together quickly because like we're trying not to be eaten by the tiger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, exactly.
And in an era when we're no longer eaten by tigers or eaten by anything, right? We attribute it to ghosts, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's still, you still get that scary sensation. So I mean, yes, is it a real? It's a real phenomenon.
Yeah, I get that.
But it's not the spirits. It's your brain. It's your brain being like, hee, I don't know what's going on.
and how to deal with it personally and all. Like, yeah, I get that. Do they?
But
during the tours and stuff like that, do they spice it up a little bit to try to like make it more? And yeah, if it's not haunted, if you ignore it, yeah, exactly. Like,
exactly.
I saw one, but I didn't care. Whatever.
It's there's some tour guides that do a better job of getting you into the ambiance and the mood. Yeah, I mean, you can roll the dice and get a bad tour guide, and they're just doing it for the paycheck that day, and that stinks.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's a good way. It's a good way. I've done haunted tours in DC too, or more appropriately, Williamsburg. That's in the general vicinity. But it's a good way of getting some local lore, local history. This person died under some suspect circumstances, or famous burial areas. Or like somebody hated somebody and did a voodoo curse.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I was talking to Harley like a while back when we did her interview, was saying that she went on a haunted tour in San Diego too. So I mean, like it's a popular thing to do in a lot of areas where they can hype it up a little bit. So I figured New Orleans and southern areas, I think, are one area that they can hype it up a little bit more because of the history and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, I mean the right up the road, right about an hour from me is like one of the most infamous like safety fires, right? It was a speakeasy, a bar that there was only one exit door, and the fire happened to form like at the exit door because of some stray hay, and so like 113 people burned up, right? It was, and they say that it's a little haunted plot of land.
Yeah.
The people's souls aren't resting easy.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if the world keeps going like it is, I'm not going to rest easy. I'm going to tell you that much right now. So my house will be haunted for the rest of my life too. Oh God.
So, yeah, you'd have to. So when you're in the area, right? If you're down there in New Orleans, you have to go to the French Quarter. Yep. You have to walk around and see the shops.
Yep.
While they're still there, I don't want to get too much into it, but there is some issues with like rent and affordability, and some places are closing up because they just can't afford existing.
I'm sure
in their spots anymore.
So is that the turnover and everything like that for businesses and things like that, is there a high turnover, or is there actually people that are there that been there for such a long time that they want to stay that way?
I think it's just so New Orleans, with New Orleans tourist industry, it was a mix of like local United States people coming through, but also it was a lot of international tourists that came through. New Orleans is known internationally to be a very unique city in the United States versus your New Yorks, your Chicago's, your LA's and San Diego's. It's a smaller city, impacted by Hurricane Katrina and impacted by its geolocation. It's more Caribbean influence than any other city in America.
Yeah.
Versus maybe a couple of coastal cities in Florida. But so we would have a lot of international folks from like Australia, Canada, coming through and visiting for the first time because they wanted to experience New Orleans. They want to come to the weird French Spanish Creole city
Yeah.
in America.
Yeah.
And not to belabor the political situation, but we're not exactly in a stage when we're inviting to
Yeah, that's
to
fair.
international tourists.
It's 2025,
So
y'all. So whoever sees this later on, it's 2025 right now.
yeah, so when you completely kill the international tourist industry, you are impacting the cities that bring in your international tourists, right?
Yeah.
You're impacting New Orleans, you're impacting Chicago, New Orleans, New York. You're impacting those cities, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And that, in combination with all the other hardships that came about from a post-pandemic and environment, rising costs, rising labor costs, rising inputs, right? Just some iconic restaurants that they just can't compete. And then the owners are aging too, right? They're at the age where they would have sold their business or retired and whatnot, but it's just there's no market to buy it, right?
Yeah,
so
and the family doesn't want to take it over probably, and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
like the hand-me-downs or whatever. Well, growing up in that area, then how did that area influence your inspiration to become a scientist and go into the schools that you were doing and become what you are today?
So New Orleans probably didn't really influence me in that department. I mean, it's a cool little different city. I've been to Chicago a lot of times too in my adult life. And when you compare them, the Chicago's, your San Diego's, your Houston's, New Orleans stands out as being vastly unique compared to the others. There's a uniqueness to San Diego versus Austin and versus Houston versus Chicago, but there's a lot of similarities in terms of skylines are tall concrete.
Yeah.
New Orleans has a handful of tall buildings, but we're not really conducive to building skyscrapers on our soft soil.
Yeah, I'm sure people have bought the air rights, so people can't do that and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But in terms of my career or my perspective, I think what influences me about Louisiana is Louisiana's uniqueness in our country. We are a vastly diverse population in a small area compared to a lot of other states, right? If you go to Montana, I've been to Montana, North Montana, Southern Montana. It's almost ubiquitous throughout that small population.
Yeah.
But if you go in Louisiana, if you go to the southern part of Louisiana and go to the northern part of Louisiana, it's a complete different culture from one versus
wow. Yeah.
Southern Louisiana. So you have Southwest Louisiana, that's more Cajun Creole. You have Southeast Louisiana, that's more French, more Creole, less Cajun, less Acadiana, more Creole. That's your French and Spanish, proper Creole.
Yeah.
Then you have where I am, Baton Rouge is the melting pot with it being the capital, but Baton Rouge is more like the Western Florida Gulf Coast type counties and parishes. And then Central Louisiana is a hybrid between North Louisiana's almost hill people culture to South Louisiana's bayou culture. It's a lot of uniqueness in a small state. You can drive to a whole different culture, basically, a whole different area.
So what did all that inspire you to be the scientist that you are today then?
No, I wouldn't say it was scientist so much as just my political perspective. I'm a big fan of understanding your people's history, right? The context in which you grew up in. If you're familiar with the story of the Acadianas, our Cajun folks, as they called them, right? They were some of the original French up there in Canada before the British came through and said, "Hey, you got to go. We don't like French people here." And there was violence to get them to leave. Some of them went back to France, and some of them got on boats and came all the way down to French Louisiana at that time. Maybe it was Spanish Louisiana at the time. I forget the history exactly, but they came down and they settled in the swamps. And then, right, France sold Louisiana, the entire boot all the way up to Canada, right? They sold their long stretch during the Napoleon era. And that enclave, that French and Spanish enclave stayed in Louisiana, right? But they had to wrestle against the what we call in our state the Anglicization of Louisiana. All them white people started coming into our state.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
and brought their white people drama.
Yeah, Englishify. yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They brought their white people drama. Louisiana is a southern state. We have had our history of racism and issues like that, but Louisiana was unique in that we had a Creole culture that, like, the concept of race mixing wasn't an issue. It didn't bother people. Like, okay, you're half black and half French or half Spanish, right? That's Creole.
Yeah.
We call them Creole people, right? No big deal. Yeah. Like, we had lots of freed colored people in our state, and then the white people brought their drama.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I mean,
they brought their concept of whiteness and racism and all that foolishness. Yeah, you can. There's lots of different authors that have talked about this. There's way more people knowledgeable than me, but when you look at our history, that's what brings me to it. It's like, you got to understand your people. Like with the French, right? The Cajuns, there was a large push to, like, get them to stop speaking French, right? That dumb concept that we only speak English in America, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they would, there's like an entire generation of Cajun French people that don't speak Cajun French very well. There's a large effort to, like, revitalize that, and I think they've done very well. But, like, they just went through a generation where they try to stamp out the culture. So, and that's sad, right? When you go through our history, that's sad. That's you read about that in terms of, like, other peoples, like the indigenous peoples, Canada, the United States. Force them to schools to learn English, learn how great your country is.
So, like, how did you transition to the school that you went to, and what, like, the job wise now? Like, how did you decide on what you're doing now? And then, because so let's do that real quick.
Yeah. So to switch gears to something I'm a lot more knowledgeable on.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're pretty knowledgeable. This is the reason why I asked the people that are from the area, because you know exactly the area. So I love it so much.
So in terms of like switching gears, right? I used to work for a major petrochemical company. One of the major ones in this state, and I worked there for 10 plus years. Decent paycheck, lots of savings. I basically dumped all my extra pay into my 401k so I could retire comfortably.
Yeah.
And that's why I could spend dummy money on skins. But
fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, over time, like, I just got tired of two aspects. One, it's very highly organized and corporatized. You're from the military, right? Organized structure, top down, like, command structure, right? Don't question me. I have authority.
Yeah.
Even though there are some aspects of the military where they do want input from your underlings, but there are sometimes they just say, just do it because I said so.
I mean, that's fair. I get that a lot too. Yeah. I have a lot of questions. Don't ask, just do it. All right, fair. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I got tired of that, right? I think what I got most tired of was the double speak of it, because they would have, like, the posted company culture of, like, collaboration and input and discussions like that, and then, like, at the end of the day, when you would bring your case and build the business case, then you just got told, no, we're going to go this direction because it just saves us money. And I'm like, but but there's more than just saving money
Yeah.
or making money. Sometimes you have to just do the right thing, right? Like the right thing isn't necessarily the thing that will bring the greatest shareholder value. The right thing is the thing that will like bring the largest stakeholder value,
Yeah.
right?
Not always the easiest thing to do either. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a MBA type background, a business background, and trying to talk to these people about shareholders, right, versus stakeholders. Shareholders are the people that make the money and get the money, but stakeholders are like everybody with like that are impacted by your decisions. That's your employees, your community, your local government, like, you know, stakeholders, right? They may not make money from it, but like they are impacted by your decision to build or sell or
Yeah, no, I get that.
or whatever. And at the end of the day, a lot of my leadership cared more about shareholder interest. So I just got tired of it. I got tired of the corporate hierarchy.
Yeah. So it made you decide to like, so you decided to leave that job to do what you're doing now. Like, so like what I wanted, like the knowledge that you have for New Orleans has amazed me. So like, how do you leave such an area that you have so much knowledge about?
So while there is, it sucks to like be like, hey, you know, in order to have an opportunity, you have to leave home, right? Yeah. It sucks that in America, where you think, you know, we're such a great, like, we're such a unique country that you can build and develop opportunities almost anywhere. There are some opportunities that just do not exist in your current location, right? And that's just a fact of reality. Louisiana itself, I could sit here all day and blame, you know, our entire reliance on a specific political party, but or the directions that we keep going, our reliance on petrochemical industry as a major, like the three industries in Louisiana are petrochemicals, agriculture, and tourism.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's fair. Yeah. I mean,
and we have such a
let's keep the tourism up on that third level for now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So and you know, there's just there's not a current appetite to replace petrochemicals, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that one will probably be around for a while.
Yeah. So when me, who wants to, you know, replace petrochemicals for various reasons, the petroleum stuff is just not good long term. It's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. It's okay to admit that when it was great, it was great. It got us to a certain place, but we can move on. We've done this before in the past as a society. We can do this again.
Yeah.
If your current location is not conducive to that, you have to move on. You have to remember that home is where you make it.
Yeah.
And so like you'll always have your memories, your history, your photos, your videos. And you can always visit and come back, but like you have to make a decision. Do you want to be comfortable, or do you want to see the change that you want to happen?
Yeah. No, I agree. I get that.
So I have chose the latter.
Yeah.
And that's what has brought me to the middle of nowhere in Texas to build a plant.
No. So like right now you're driving back and forth from the area in Louisiana to Texas?
Pretty much almost every other week. It's about an 8-hour drive. And I'm living in my little trailer at an RV park. So
there's nothing wrong with that. I fucking love that shit. To be honest.
I feel like a movie star.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're on set for that time, and then you go back home for a little while. I get it.
I ran the numbers. I've been looking for a little Gulf Coast camp. I wouldn't mind that. The plant is close enough to the coast to where like I wouldn't mind having a little. I wouldn't call it a beach. I'm gonna get your autograph.
Yeah, I love it.
I wouldn't call it a beach. If you've ever been to the Gulf Coast side of Texas, they're not like the crystal clear beaches along Florida.
No,
they have a lot of sediment, brown water, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still, I wouldn't mind a little camp. I've always wanted a little pseudo beach house, but until I find something like that, I've just been pulling a trailer and parking it in a nearby RV park and going to the camp in going to the plant in my truck.
Oh, that's cool. So do you travel there and then stay there for a couple days and drive back, or how long do you?
Yep. About I stay for like 4 days in that week and come back. And I'll probably still be doing that for like the next year or so.
So is that like, because you're able to do most of it from home, and you just
yeah, so
that's nice.
I've been doing that like almost every other week now, but pretty soon it will be an every week thing. So I may not even come back for some weeks because it's a long drive. 8 hours is a full ass work day. So
very much so, yeah. I mean, even visiting family that's 8 hours away in Colorado, where I'm from, and I'm just like, I dread that drive all the time. Like, just plus, I mean, I'm sure the scenery sucks. Like, there might be good scenery what you have, but like going across Nebraska, that scenery sucks.
So I've been doing this drive long enough to tell you that the places I hate, right? Places I hate along the drive is the Louisiana-Texas border, because I've been here. I've been on this earth for almost 40 years, and I feel like that area of the state has always been under construction for 40 years.
Oh,
I don't understand why that area of I-10 sucks so much. Everybody complains about the damn bridge over the Mississippi River, but I think the second place that sucks along I-10 is when you transition from Louisiana to Texas. That area between Orange, Texas, and Beaumont.
Yeah, like
sucks. It's just like always has construction cones and concrete barriers, and it's like narrow. It's
like
dumb.
How long have you been fixing this road for? Like, you should be fixed by now. Like,
you have been repairing these roads since I've been driving. What the hell?
I've been there. I'm from Nebraska. Every winter, the road that they fixed last year is always trash. So yeah, I get it.
So that sucks. You have to time your timing perfect, because if you want to keep it under 8 hours, you want to avoid Houston rush hour traffic, because you have to go through Houston to get to where I'm going. Because if you will hit the rush hour traffic, the way to avoid the traffic is the same amount of time than to go through the traffic. So
for sure, yeah.
Like there is a back roads route, right? But you're just driving on like federal highways that go through stop signs and stuff, right? So it's not like you're going faster. You just feel like you're moving as opposed to being stuck.
Yeah, and I know for a long time you were looking for a job. How did you decide, like, okay, I want to quit this job because I don't want to do it anymore, and not have one ready to go, and then still look for one?
Oh yeah, I got tired of my boss. My boss is, well, let me rephrase this. I got tired of the revolving door that was my boss.
Yeah.
And every new iteration of the boss that came through that revolving door sucked even more. So, that just got to the point. Maybe I'm petty. Maybe I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? Like narcissistic. Thinking that I should be the boss, but
yeah, I mean, I've been doing this long enough. Stop hiring somebody that don't know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly.
It's like so you don't even you come in, you tell me what to do, I do what you say, and then you get mad because the thing that I was supposed to do didn't get done.
Right.
But you didn't tell me to do that. Because you told me to do this other stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like I got tired of it. I got tired of the bullshit, basically. Yeah. And after the third iteration, and the boss's boss had sucked the entire time, like I just got tired. I was like, I'm leaving. Like it was a good run. I got my monies. I have a decent amount in retirement, assuming that things don't go completely sideways.
Yeah.
And it can recover if it does go sideways, like it did in whenever the pandemic was, 2020.
I mean, yeah, for that long, yeah, for sure.
But so that's just funny money in the back. I have a pension from my old employer, right? They're one of the few in the industry that still does pensions, right? Almost everybody's given up on pensions.
Yep.
But so we got that. But so I'm good to go in the retirement phase. So I'm just like, you know what? I made all these decisions, all these investments. I'm looking solid to retirement. Like I could retire and become a high school teacher and be fine, right? Like,
yeah.
So let's go do something that could maybe change the world, right? We could succeed, we could fail. You don't know until you do it. That's the beauty of science and engineering. Like sometimes you just have to do it and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I found these guys randomly on LinkedIn. The social media of professionals.
Yeah.
But I found them on LinkedIn. And I was like, these guys sound cool. It's like three dudes making science in a garage.
yeah. I get that.
They were looking for a chemist. I was looking for a job. I gave them the worst version of my resume since I like joined the job market. It was like my first draft back. Right, like my resume is much improved, but they still got the suckiest version.
Yeah, and they said, you have a lot of talent, so let's go ahead and take a shot on this guy, or what?
Yeah, they're like, hey, we need somebody, you need something, let's do this. And I was like, perfect.
That's cool. And like, how long were you out? Like when you decide, I give up on this stupid boss and stuff. Oh, hey, Maddie. What's up? I see a few people that I know in this one here, Preemie and everybody. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. We're sitting down with GameCow for everybody that don't know it. His name's down below. I'll say it a little bit later on. But GameCowTV, he's a streamer and he's a great guy. So make sure you drop a follow for him when he finally goes live again. So when you decided to say, hey, bye, I don't want to do this anymore, and you said, okay, I'm going to go and get this other job, how long were you out of job? And did you ever get stressed out to the point where you might feel like you weren't going to find something? And then how did you deal with that like situation and stress?
So when you leave a job without a complete backup plan,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I agree that, and I know it's hard. People live paycheck to paycheck, but you need to try your best to get it, like to get to a financial security where you can have 6 months savings at least. So that way, if something does happen, you kind of have a 6-month period of like getting the best opportunity and not the first opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you're in a, like you have to take this job because you need a paycheck.
Right. Yeah.
And I get it. That's not, I've been there. I've been like my desperate job back in the day. I took a overnight stocking position at Walmart, right? I needed a job. I needed a paycheck because I was hungry and like things were not working out, right?
Yeah.
That was a job where I learned a lot about myself more than like the job. The job was easy, but like I learned about myself.
Facts. Yeah.
But you don't want to be in that position. So after having been in that position, when you get an opportunity, maybe you have to live with somebody to help share some common, democratize the living expenses.
Yeah.
Right. It sucks to have a roommate because you lose privacy. But like, let's be honest, when rent is like almost $2,000 for like a 2-bedroom apartment in most cities, like you can reduce that bill to $1,000 and you can take that extra $1,000 and stick it into your rainy day fund. Right. Like, yeah. Oh, is my NVIDIA blurring?
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, you got it.
I'll scoot up.
No, you're good.
But
we talked about New Orleans, so maybe you're just a ghost of GameCowTV.
The ghost of GameCowTV.
I wrote that down because that's going to be my intro to your video.
Where was I? So you do what you need to do to be able to get at least 6 months of your expenses paid for.
Yeah.
Out of your rainy day fund. And then that will allow you to be able to look for like the best fit opportunity instead of the first thing that drops like that drops down for you. Because for me, you asked, from leaving the job to taking this job, it probably was about 2.5 months.
Yeah. I remember talking
because it takes
that time. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes about a month for any place to like hire you through the process because they interview you. And then the next week, somebody else interviews you. And then maybe the next week, somebody else interviews you or they bring you on site.
Yeah.
And then the next week you get a decision, right?
Yeah.
So that's almost a whole month, right? That's one whole month. You need at least a month to like live without.
and that depends if they do a background check and you're waiting for all that too, like all that. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. So that's almost a month to get the job offer, and then there could be more weeks attached to that. So
Yep.
You need, and that 6 months is so that way you don't have to pick up the sucky stalker position if that's not, you don't want to see your career go that direction.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's true. I don't know if the values are the correct anymore with the way inflation is, but there used to be an adage in job seeking that for every for every $10,000 more in salary you want from your previous job, you basically have to spend an extra month searching.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's the spirit of that is still true. Like if you're looking for an opportunity to increase your payroll or salary, yeah, you would be spending an extra month trying to get that raise, right?
Yep.
Because what you're looking for is a next up position.
Yep. I think what I was trying to get at is like at some point when you're looking for something and you have that, like saying like it's very hard to leave a job without having that secondary option, and then having to go through all that timeline, and you're like, oh crap, am I gonna find something? Am I gonna be able to have enough to survive for the month and a half, 2 months or whatever? And yeah, first time you've seen Cal. Yeah, this is a long conversation we had. Like, hey, we want to do this. You're gonna have to be on camera. He's like, oh, okay, fine. But yeah, to transition, and then not only the transition to say, okay, now I found a job I like, and you're like talking about like, I want to give up this and I want to find something that's going to make a difference. Now you have to leave your area of life that you've been living in for so long, your friends, your family, all that kind of stuff that's around your area that you live. How do you adapt to that change? And how do you go like, okay, I have to leave all this stuff behind? Is that something that you want to do, or is that something you want to agree to as you transition to doing what you're doing? Oh, you're good. That works.
There we go. I changed the background on you, and let's see if that will stop blurring me.
No, that's all right.
But
how do you handle the transition? Is basically what we're at right now. That's great.
Yeah, to handle that transition, you have to stay focused. So when I first decided, right before I decided to leave, I went to the library. Libraries are a good resource. Public libraries, I'm a huge advocate for. Right, it's a solid third space, free resources, free internet. The library here in my local parish, for those who aren't familiar, we call them parishes. Everybody else call them counties. We're built different in Louisiana. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I get it.
But so the local library, mine has like an entire section built for like a career center, right? Job seekers.
Mm-hmm.
They have books to like help you pass or help you score well on the ASVAB from the military, right? So that you don't seem like you're an idiot.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yep. I have a lot of stories on that one, but y'all are not here for me.
It's like, oh damn, it's righty tighty, not lefty.
I love it so much.
But so they had a book called What Color is Your Parachute, right? You've heard the term golden parachute for all these rich CEOs that fail at their jobs and they're paid an exorbitant amount of money to leave.
Yep.
So this guy, he was laid off several times, laid off or furloughed, or basically no paycheck coming in several times in his career. And he wrote on his reflections and basically created a type of program that got you to think about what do you want to do?
Right. Yeah.
It's an entire book that forces you as you read it to be like, what do you want to do, asshole? Yeah. Like figure your shit out, man.
Yeah. which is not easy no matter what book or whatever video you watch. Yeah, it's
right. But like stop just vibing, man, and really think about where do you want to be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now? Like what do you And now that you have a vision, instead of just waking up and doing your thing, letting life exist around you, right? Take some agency, be the person in charge of your life.
Yeah.
And now that you see what you want to do, how do you get there? Now write out the damn plan to get there. If you want to be an astronaut in 10 years, what do you need to do? You don't know what you need to do? Go and figure that shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's not,
Like,
it sounds easy, but it's not at all. Yeah. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, I'm oversimplifying the book, and it's a good book.
Right.
And there's a companion like workbook where you fill out the book
Oh,
in
yeah.
sheets, and it forces you to like write down what you're thinking and reflecting and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good little self-help to like put things in perspective. And it has sections about like how do you do interviews, how do you network, how do you talk to people, how do you
I love it.
you
Yeah.
know, how do you open up? But basically, the gist of that section that resonated most with me is like, like stop going down the lazy river and like get off and build a boat and go where you want to go,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it was easy. It was easy, right? I got a paycheck, a steady paycheck. I had a boss. They told me what to do. Let me just wake up, drink coffee, sit in my office, do XYZ, go home, play video games, scroll TikTok, do whatever,
Yeah.
rinse and repeat. Like, and that was very easy and that was comfortable. I was living comfortably, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And it's easy when you get that comfortability is stay there, just enjoy what you have, or do you want more? Like
yeah,
we always have this conversation, and we've had this before, where like, do you move the goalpost, or you just get to where you want to go and just stay there for the rest of your life? Like, do you like celebrate your wins that you get there, and then how do you improve and how do you go from there? And I think I think you're going down that same path, and I think that's kind of leads us to the next conversation about how do you transition from that to learn to staying positive during all this transition. And I think that you're hitting it right now. So I love this.
yeah. So to stay positive, you just like you to help stay positive, you have to admit that emotions are real. You can't lie to yourself. Like if you're having if you're feeling down because like you're failing, because failure can happen. Like you have to recognize that part of the process is you're not going to get the job even though it's a perfect fit for you. It's something right up your alley. You feel like you did really well in the interviews. You connected with the interviewers. There are things just out of your control completely. You can't tell that person to hire you, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like so maybe they found another candidate. Maybe it's because they're more local and they don't want to pay the relocation fee, right?
Yeah.
It could be something just as banal or mundane as that, right?
Yeah.
When all things are equal, right? And I'm in the process of hiring somebody right now at my job, right? All things being equal, like if you're 10 minutes from the plant, I will probably hire you more than if you're an hour and a half away from the plant because like I know that you will show up to work, right?
Right.
That's one of the things that's important for me.
Yeah.
So
Yep. No, I agree with that. Yep.
you're not, susceptible to like, oh, the weather washed away the one road out of my town, right? And now I have to like take 2 hours to get to the plant.
So would that be a question like as an interviewer? Would that be a question of, okay, I'm down to two candidates, one equal qualifications, equal thing. One lives this far, and when you live farther away, would you consider or would you move closer to have that way? Do you approach that, or do you automatically go, okay, well, if they're both qualified, one's 10 minutes away, you don't even ask the other person, you just kind of go with the one that's closer?
I feel like it kind of leans towards those like so I was my high school valedictorian because I had like my GPA was like a 3.985 or 980, right? Like the person who graduated top of my class was a junior who transferred in that year to graduate early, and he had like a 3.985.
Yeah.
But because he transferred in, my school had a policy that transfers didn't like same year transfers weren't eligible for valedictorian, so he wasn't the valedictorian technically because of that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and then the salutatorian was like a 3.975. So we were all like, right there, right?
Yeah.
Like we all had a difference of like decimals
Yeah.
of like class rankings.
That's crazy.
To get to my point, we're all almost the same person at that level, right? Like we're all mostly A students that got like 3 Bs, it sounds like, right? Like, and then I had such a high one because I probably had the most like credit hours because I only took like one study hall in high school, right? And then the junior transfer, he was up there because he had the least credit hours, right?
Yeah.
So to get to my point, yeah, it probably could be just something as minute as that. Like, yeah, it sucks, but that's the reality of the job market.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you're, because there's types of jobs. You know, like if you try to get hired into a cohort scenario, right? You're one of 5 people being hired into the common and entry level positions, right? You get hired in as a cohort. You're not the only person being for this job,
right?
You're one of 5 people. That's easier, right? Because you're not competing directly with everybody. You're just trying to get past the post, right?
No, I get that. And how did, speaking of that, like the minute things, like how did the interviewer interview you and be okay with you living X amount of hours away?
So the job came with the fact that, like, you know, the job posting explicitly said, like, you know, the primary job functions are located in the Port Lavaca, Texas, technically.
Yeah.
But that's like saying that's a small town.
Yeah.
That's tiny. Anybody who's in Texas will be like, yeah, I know Port Lavaca.
Fair. Yeah.
So it said that it was like, you know, depending on where you live, significant business travel to fulfill job obligations. It explicitly said that. But the interviewer my boss did mention to me, he did say something like, hey, you know, out of a lot of the candidates, you're in the Gulf Coast region. I was like, yeah, that's funny. I'm closest, but like 8 hours is still pretty far.
Yeah.
That's the wonders of American geography. But yeah, if you're interviewing people who are up in like Michigan or California or like Maryland, right? Like yeah, they would be taking a plane every other week, right?
Yeah.
I could take a plane, but it's like the way the planes and airports work, right? It's still about a 3-hour, 4-hour affair.
Yeah. Then you have to stay at a hotel and all the extra stuff. Yeah, I get that.
When I'm a little bit more established, I could foresee myself like taking an airplane back home periodically because it's not that bad of an expense. In advance, it's probably about $200 a ticket. And that would save me 8 hours of driving. But
right. Yeah, I mean, fair. Yeah.
But I made the mistake one time of taking the airplane and Enterprise down there because that's the only company that rents cars where I am. It's a small enough city that they only have one rental car company. They were out of cars. They had no cars.
Yeah.
So I was like, so what do I do?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Like they hooked me up eventually, but I was like walking everywhere I needed to be, and that city was not designed for walking from the airport. So
in the small towns, it's not like Uber is like a top thing there, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, the looking at the Uber and Lyft, it would have taken forever. Luckily, Enterprise picked me up to like drop me off in downtown Victoria, and I was able to like at least walk around and hop on their county bus periodically.
That's nice of them.
Until they got their crap together. But like I said, it's once you're established and you're not reliant on unreliable car rentals. It's not. Maybe I can make my life a little bit easier, but I'm not saving much. Like I said, it's about 4 hours to fly back and forth, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm saving a lot of time, but.
No, I get that. Like, so like when you were during this transition and everything like that, like staying positive, we're talking about that, like to get into a little bit more details of you, like how do you, like with everything that happened And during the intro, I said something about losing your father in 2024. How did you like deal with that, and how did you stay positive through that situation? Because obviously, there's people that lose their parents, lose their significant others, lose people that mean a lot to them. It could be uncles, could be grandmas, could be all that kind of stuff. Like, and we talk a lot about mental health in this channel. Like, how did you deal with that, and how do you like help others when they talk about that kind of thing? How do you suggest helping that?
So when you lose a loved one, let's be real and honest, it sucks.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get hit with the emotions because it's a loss. Even in this scenario, you knew it was eventually coming, right? Like it's a fact of life that we all die. It's at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Death is the end result of living. And we are constantly having to grapple with that. That realization. But it's still, even when you accept that inevitability, you know that you lose something, right?
Yeah.
And it's that combination of like well, now that my father has passed, right? I'm single, never married, no children. He'll never meet them. So there is that we call it FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Yep.
That kind of memories that will never exist, right? And that kind of stuff can like be saddening, right? That's the stuff that brings on the saddening part, the sadness part, right? Loss. But to stay focused, right? You grieve. You allow yourself to go through that multi-step grieving process. I forget the steps exactly, but you go through you're sad with the sudden loss.
Yeah.
You have to struggle through it, rationalize it, accept it.
It's like denial, angry, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you accept the fact that you can be angry. You can be angry at the circumstances, even though like my father had a blood marrow cancer, and so eventually he would pass from that. Right? You could be angry at the circumstances because it felt like that every day. If he had just eaten and drank more water, he would have recovered, right? But like he kind of got into that. He was so sick that he refused to eat and drink, right? And so you're just basically watching somebody die in front of you, and so you can get angry at the process too, right? You recognize your emotions. That's part of it. You just accept that those things exist. You are going to be angry. You're going to be sad. You're going to be forced to interact with these mixed feelings. I was lucky in that, like I knew this was an eventuality. He had a stroke. He never recovered fully from the stroke. He was diagnosed with a like white blood cell, blood marrow type cancer. So his blood wasn't acting right ever.
Yeah.
And that led to kidney and organ failure eventually, and he got to the point where he gave up, right? It felt like, and that's sad, right? You look up to your parents. They were strong for you when you were sick, and then you just see them wither away, and you can get sad. You can be very sad by that experience. But you can also just learn to accept that they accepted that inevitability, right? He had a dying will or living will, whatever they're called, right? A DNR type scenario. He didn't want to be intubated. He didn't want to be shoved the feeding tube to force him to eat and drink, right? He didn't want any of that stuff. Those were his last wishes. And you just have to, while you're angry, because you just know in the back of your mind, it's very simple. If you eat, you get better, right? Like, the body cannot heal itself if you don't give itself nutrients and energy. But you just, you accept the anger, accept the sadness, but also accept reality. That's the way you basically go through that grieving process.
So after you gone through like the process of that, how did you decide to say, I'm not going to let this keep affecting me. I'm not going to let this keep drowning me or keep like affecting me to the point where I can't focus on what I need to do and press on and still enjoy the memory, enjoy the past of the life that you had with him, but also still focus on what's going on next. Like, how did you move on to that? Because I think that's the part where people forget, or people like may have troubles moving past that instance.
So that kind of gets back to my 5-10, I call it the 5-10-15 plan, right?
Yeah.
When you have that established, it's a lot easier to go back to that and make the minor adjustments to still have that vision in the future. So you reframe and reground yourself. Basically, you accept that the emotions happen in the moment. You grieve, you cry. Like, I mean, I'll be sappy and honest. Like, I was there when my father passed. I walked in the room and he had his last breath. Like, that's going to be like with me for the rest of my life, right?
Yep.
And that's going to influence me for the rest of my life. I heard my father's dying words and dying breath, and it, that's the reality of what happened. Out of all my family members, I was there. I walked in to visit him because I'd been visiting him in hospice, and when he was in hospice, and that day I walked in and he had his last breath. He basically stared at me and he said goodbye, and then he went to sleep forever. So basically he reached out. I don't to give you all a visual, he basically reached out his hand, I grabbed it, and then he passed. And that is a traumatic experience, right? I mean, this is, a parental figure that I was an affectionate child. I sat on my dad's lap when he read me books, right? Like, I grew up with a loving father. He wasn't there for some aspects of my life because he was busy with work. He had business trips. He went, XYZ, but like he was there to provide, right? If I needed something, especially financial help, he made it work. He made it happen. Right?
Yeah.
But like I said, you also have to recognize and be rational that like our parents will pass. They will pass. They don't live forever.
Right.
And even in that weird science fiction world where you think about what if you upload people's brains into a computer, right? Like that could happen. But if you upload a copy, that's a copy.
Yeah. Up to whatever it is. Yeah.
That's not the original. The original, we will never live forever, right?
Yeah.
that is the what's that called? Paradox, right?
Yeah.
We will never live forever. If we clone ourselves to try to live forever, that is still a clone.
Yeah.
That is not us.
Yeah. So like you made a comment of if I and correct me if I'm wrong here, you said like the 5-10, that is the 5-10-15 rule. Can you explain what that is for those that don't know what that means?
Oh, yeah. So I kind of mentioned it earlier during the career part, but like 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, or 20-year plan, depending on how young or old you are. But the idea is you sit down, you get your shit together.
You get your shit together. Exactly.
You sit down and whatever endeavor you're doing, is it your career? Is it being a content creator? Is it being with regards to your family, your life, whatever it is? Sit down and try to envision what you want to be doing, what is your life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So
and that's not just career. That's like, where do you want to live? Where do you want to be? That's like, you have to analyze that bigger picture of what you want to do. So
yes.
Yeah.
So career is a big part of it because that will help inform things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
But also like all aspects of life. Like if you know, so in 5 years, say you're in college now. In
yeah.
5 years, you'll be graduating. You graduate from college,
Right.
ideally.
Yep.
So where would you be? You would be in a entry level position in your chosen field of study, or chosen field of work, like nonprofit industry. Maybe you go up to the military,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yep.
Like you see yourself in 5 years. That should be pretty crystal clear. I mean, it's going to be fuzzy
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
life can happen. The pandemic threw everything into chaos, right? But um, that should be crystal clear.
That
All
should be
right,
what
then
that should be something you're already working on to achieve.
correct.
Yes. All right.
Correct. Like
Yeah.
it should be realistic, right? You don't want to say in 5 years I want to be a multimillionaire if you're not anywhere near even owning a company,
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of like I want to be married in 5 years, but you have to rely on somebody else to fall in love with you. Like there's your realistic kind of moments.
Well,
No, no,
yeah. So,
like
but if you're at that point where you're like, I should be married in 5 years, right?
yeah,
Then that gives you something to work with. If I want to be married in 5 years, I have to start dating
yeah.
somebody.
You have to put yourself out there. You can't just stay in your basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You got it. Yeah, yeah,
So by having those visions,
yeah,
right? And I used to joke with people. It's a 5 year plan, 10 year 5 year plan, 10 year vision, 15 year dream.
right.
Like things are concrete in the beginning, and then they get more like abstract in the future, so that way you can build that scaffolding, and that allows you to, I don't know if you've ever heard people, when you do projects, you chunk them into small sections so that they get done.
Yep.
Like that's what you're doing. You're basically creating a board,
Like your vision,
right? You're
like what
creating,
people call it, like a vision board or something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yep.
and then painting it along the way and being like, well, now that I have, like, in 15 years, I want to be a doctor, let's say, a medical doctor, right? In 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, what do I need to do right now to become a medical doctor in 15 years?
Yeah.
I already have an undergraduate degree, but if I want to be a doctor in 15 years, I have to eventually go to medical school,
Yeah.
right? So how do I go to medical school? Well, it's been a while since I took a test, so I'd have to take the MCAT, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All that stuff. Yep.
So then I would build a study plan so I can do well in the MCAT. Do I have to do something to become a more competitive candidate? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe talk to some medical school advisors, find out maybe there's a secret sauce. Maybe because I've been out of school for so long, that would demerit me. So maybe I need to go back to school to do something.
So
even if it's just.
So when you said you were applying the 5, 10, 15 to like the mental health part of it when your dad passed, that helped because you had the guidance to get to where you wanted to go.
Because you already had that framework, right?
Yes.
That is that's a little document. You make it into a little worksheet. You have it already written out. It's kind of like I already did this. I already did the legwork, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it allows me to just go back to that and be like, how does this event change anything?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then I already accepted ages ago the fact that like I would lose this family member.
Yeah.
Or does it change it? Well, then now that I have new information, how does it change it? What changes it? What do I need to compensate or correct or refocus? Right.
Yeah. I think like we've kind of gone from who you are to where you've lived to transitioning to whatever, and now the 5, 10, 15 and staying positive. Like now I kind of want to ask a couple questions before we move on to like the lightning round, because I would stick this under a good 2-hour time frame for the video for YouTube, and then if anybody has any questions within the chat, or anybody that has any like, hey, I want to ask this, we'll ask those a little bit later. I like to give a little bit more of talks for people that are here live. So if you've catch this on YouTube and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool, I want to be a part of this, you can come back and like say, hey, I want to be this live, I want to get that little bonus extra, I want to give that to that, and I don't time frame for you, I want to take up all your time here, but I do want to think like, so as you're dealing with all this kind of stuff going on, and as you're transitioning and you're trying to get like figure out, hey, when am I going to get back to streaming? When am I going to get to do this again? And all that kind of stuff. Like, do you feel the peer pressure to say, now that I'm back to streaming and I'm going through like these kind of things and trying to deal with this, do you feel like you can still stream during those times, or do you actually take that mental health break and go, I can't stream because of all the stuff that's going on? How do you deal with that, and how do you present that?
Yeah, as anybody could notice from my Twitch statistics, I hadn't streamed in a good minute. The combination of like, top of the hour, we talked about Stream Raiders. That was, I wouldn't say there at the end, I wouldn't say it was a major part of my channel. I even kind of stopped showing the battles. Let's be completely honest. But like I still ran them, and I ran them a lot offline. I'll be completely honest. I was an offline captain. But that didn't help. Everything going on in my life with my work and lack of work. You would think that would motivate me to stream, but I didn't have the spoons, right? That's what the kids say these days.
Yeah.
I didn't have the spoons. Like I didn't want, like I was dealing with things in my life. Like my father was sick at that time. Stream Raiders is failing.
Yeah.
It was just hard to go live because there was things I just didn't want to talk about. Like I didn't feel comfortable. I tried, like a typical white male, I don't want to cry on stream, right? Like,
Ain't that
like, we were, gender influenced, as you will. It just, it's been hard, and commuting every day. I've thought about, what if I bring y'all along and do like a driving ASMR stream? I wouldn't say anything. I put on my like trucker Bluetooth headset, so I can listen to my music, and all you guys get is just like road noise.
No, I get that. Yeah.
I thought about some weird content like that, but like otherwise, it's just really hard to turn. I've done a couple of like co-studying streams, sit in silence and just let people vibe, but like it's hard. It's hard to go on and talk. Like this is probably the most I've talked since.
I have that way with people. I don't know what it is.
Since everything. Because it's just, because I don't want to share everything with everybody willy-nilly, right? There's only some people that I feel comfortable to talk with, like about topics like this.
And how do you I guess as a streamer with everything and the history and stuff like that, how do you, obviously on this channel I don't talk a lot about politics, religion, certain concepts and stuff like that. Like, is there any off topics? Like, you like say you don't want to talk about certain things? Is there certain things that you say these are the group of things that I just try to avoid, or is there things that are just like, okay, I can talk about mental health, I can talk about this, but like I don't intermix my personal life with that? Or do you mix it up a little bit when you talk about it online?
Well, it's let's be honest, in an era of AI and facial recognition, it's getting harder and harder to stay completely anonymous, right?
It is, yeah.
Like, I'm sure if anybody was to be clever and took your advertisement poster, regardless of any photo I would have given you, right? They probably would find all my socials, right? Like, you can find my first and last name. When you Google it, it's like about the 5th or 6th results. Because there is a more famous person with my full name. I mean, not more famous, but more successful in the crypto space, right? And so
like that's me. That's me.
But like, let's be real, right? You can do a reverse image search, find people. You still try to like create the veil of anonymity, right? I don't show my face. I don't show my face very often. I'll be completely honest. I like to be shirtless sometimes in my house. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I
live in Louisiana. It's hot. It is hot as fuck. Right now, it's only a little bit cooler because we're getting hit by like a tropical depression. But like otherwise, it is like 80 to 90 degrees, almost 100 degrees in August. Like, it is hot.
I get that. I have fan, like, you don't see it on the stream, but like I have a fan down here, I have a fan up here, I have like 2 exhausts that are,
yeah,
like
and so it's already hot, and
Yeah.
and I have a beefy gaming computer that has an NVIDIA 3090 in it, right? So it's like it's
hot.
it's running like a hot engine,
Yeah.
trying to as I play Fall Guys at 4K, but
I mean, like, I don't know what the difference between Fall Guys at 4K and 1080p, but I'm sure there's a difference. And if you have a computer that can support it, I would probably do the same thing too. I mean, I play Fortnite in 4K, and that I don't know what the difference is there either.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm just making a joke that I have this I invested this much money. It was dummy. It was money that I was going to use to travel.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, "Shit, what do I do with all this money?"
Yeah.
Like,
buy nice computer. Yeah, that's exactly where mine is too.
Because I'll be completely honest, if the pandemic hadn't have happened, I probably would have for an entire year go to a different city, go to a different state in a city and eating a hamburger every week for 50 weeks straight. That was I saved up enough money to drive down to the New Orleans airport to take direct flight to the most randomest cities across this country and eat a hamburger and come back. That was the dumbest thing I could think of to do with like some of my hey, I have all this excess, I have some excess savings. What's something funny I could do? I mean, like maybe I could make a YouTube channel out of just for funsies, right? Like,
I tell you what, that's good content. I mean, if you really want to start, I mean, if you were to took pictures of all that and then did a review of it, I would watch that. Hell yeah, yeah, contagious laugh. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, yes, thank you, Susanna. Yes. So I was stuck at Charlotte Airport for 14 hours one time.
Yeah.
Full ass day. And I thought the most dumb content would be to plan out an all airplane trip where all you did was go to every airport in the country. Plan it out. There has to be some sort of way that you visit every airport in the country from taking flights.
Yeah.
I was like, could somebody do this? Would that be?
I mean, you could, yeah, for sure.
Talk about the dumbest content. Your content is to drink a Coke in every airport in the contiguous United States.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make that airplane tier list first. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. S tier Coca-Cola, S tier airport. This airport has no terminals. You get off on the tarmac.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, you talked about like the future of Twitch being in real life streams. I mean, like those easily could be something that someone could watch. Hell yeah. It's like
that was the next stupid content I thought of. I was like, maybe I could do that because I've been traveling a lot. And
I mean, Stanley's been everywhere, so I mean, why not make GameCow everywhere?
There we go. Now I know what to save up my money for the stupid content. It originally was to eat a burger in every state, but at like the iconic burger place of that state, right? Like, do the research, figure out who had the best burger in the state, and be like, all right, I'm gonna go test it out. And if it's a Five Guys, and that state sucks. But
yeah, exactly.
I don't hate Five Guys, but let's be honest. If your best burger is a chain restaurant, then like, what are you doing? Get out of here.
Exactly. Yeah.
What the hell? A burger is like the easiest thing to cook almost. Like, how can you not make it better than a chain?
Well, speaking of that, like I said, I do want to give a little bit of more content for those that are here live. So I appreciate everybody for being here live and being around. Again, we do this every single month. We bring somebody on, and then at the end of every stream, to set this up here, I just want to give you a little backstory. I do talk about who we're going to interview. We talk about the questions we want to talk about, kind of like our journey of what it is. We talk about the graphics, all that kind of stuff, so we know exactly what we're talking about. But there's one section that the folks that join us never see, is the lightning round. Sometimes it's thought-provoking, sometimes it's this or that, kind of that. I did a lot more of a thought-provoking questions for you because I thought it would be more fun. But I do have a couple quick ones for you. And I'm going to put one in chat here in a little bit because I did not know, doing some research for New Orleans, how to pronounce these. So I'll put this in chat in just a second. But what I want to do is I want to blow through these, try to answer these as fast as possible, and then we'll go into an explanation of what that means. So then try not to give it too much of a thought. So
alrighty, I'll try my best. I'm a very wordy person sometimes.
No, that's right. So like we'll word it after you give the answer, because I don't want you to like, oh well, in this case I would do this, or in this case like try to like do it. Like you said that you're not big on crowds, so I want to ask you the easiest one up front. So a TwitchCon Expo Hall or after parties in New Orleans, which one would you pick?
After parties.
And how are the after parties have you been to in New Orleans, and how would that work?
The after parties I've always been to, New Orleans and Baton Rouge. After parties, after the main event, right after the crowd. After parties are always smaller. It's smaller. It's a handful of people. Look, I've been in bars after hours, hanging out with the staff, drinking past 2 a.m.
Yeah,
we got them blue laws. So yeah, after parties, just smaller environment.
Yeah. Is there a does the bars close at a specific time, or do they have like
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
in Baton Rouge they close at 2 a.m. New Orleans doesn't have a 2 a.m. rule, but they will usually close around 2 or 3 because that's when it just slows down. Right. They will close when they're slow.
Like even in like during Mardi Gras, do they stay open later, or do they have extra time that they do close?
Usually during Mardi Gras, they stay open longer.
All the time. I would assume so.
I've been there when what they call Lundi Gras, which is the Monday before Fat Tuesday, before Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
Lundi Gras. I've been in a bar when they were open and then the sun rose. But they last I checked, they had a rule that they can serve past 2, but they do tend to close eventually because of just labor and.
I'm sure. Yeah. They're
slow. Right?
Yeah, they just don't want
to. They don't say open for one person.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about ghost tours and we talked about food. If you had to pick between a ghost tour in the French Quarter or a food tour across Baton Rouge, what would you pick?
Food tour.
I figured that. Food tour. That was an easy one.
New Orleans, both the New Orleans and Baton Rouge, if I remember correctly, have like the most restaurants per person or something like that in the country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I get that one.
So food tour, hands down.
What's a moment from TwitchCon that didn't live up to the hype?
Oh goodness. Some of those panels, the panels are so hit or miss. I mean, I wanted to host one so badly because I hated some of them.
Yeah.
So like
that should be in your application. Like let's pick ones that are entertaining that people can get something out of versus people that are disappointed as they walk out of it. That would be a good reason.
It's definitely the panels. Some of them are just not good.
Let's see here. If you could stream from anywhere in the world, no tech issues, where would it be and what would you be doing?
I would stream from the beach because I love the beach. I like just hanging out at the beach. Sand, waves, beach.
Damn, I love that. I love beaches, and I've always said like there's a lot of people in my channel that are not country fans, but like there's a song called Old Blue Chair that's my retirement song, and I would love to just slowly fade away into the limelight, just sitting on a chair on a beach. That's exactly where I would what I would do for sure.
In general, I like the outdoors. I like hiking mountains, all that kind of fun stuff. But if you have me pick, right, lake, beach, mountain, what outdoors do you like the most? I like beach.
Yeah,
I like the beach.
Me too. I've seen some mountains, I've seen some beaches, and I would rather sit on a beach that I know very much so than to experience a new mountain. For sure. Oh, exactly.
I love a good beach.
Yeah.
So beach.
Hell yeah. If your Twitch channel had a slogan based on your work life, what would it be?
Moo.
That's fantastic. Let's see here. You're stuck in an airport for 8 hours. What would you do? Read, stream, people watch, nap, or other?
Read. Usually when I travel, I bring all my magazines that I keep telling myself I will read.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah.
so read, read.
I love it. I love it.
Reading magazines from like 2020.
What is your go-to magazine then?
So I'm a member of like the American Chemical Society, the American Institute of Chemical Engineering. Back in college, I joined various national collegiate scholar type organizations. I get all their magazines. So, um, I rarely have time to read them except for when I travel. So yeah, I'm reading their little periodicals, and I'm a member of like the alumni organizations of my colleges, right? So like I'll read their quarter or semester magazine
Oh, I love it.
as well.
I
So
mean,
I'm just reading most random magazines.
No, I get that. I love that because I mean, you're not just reading just for like to pass the time. You're actually reading something that can educate you. Like you're learning something while you're reading it. So I love that concept because
Yeah.
I give shit to my wife all the time. It's like I could go to my Amazon list and I'm like, that book does not look like something I want you to read. Why is my shopping list all like porn?
Yeah, the reason why I'm reading magazines and I don't have time to read them at home is because at home I'm reading fiction and nonfiction books, right, that I check out from the library.
No,
So
that's awesome.
And then I'm like, how come I can't read my magazines?
Take it over there. Yeah. What's a small act someone did for you in your life that made a lasting impact?
So when my father passed, I posted on Twitter because he passed. I'm gonna remember this because he passed roughly around when we elected our got our presidential elections, right? So I kind of vented on Twitter about everything that sucked.
Yeah, fair enough.
And one of my I had several Twitch people reach out to me, right? But one of them kind of reached out with a very thoughtful note that like, I'm gonna remember everybody who reached out, right? Who either commented on the post, right?
Yep.
Or who DM'd me directly, because this was back when people were still using Twitter or X. I think maybe they just changed the name, but and so those are several people that I'm going to remember, right? Because in a time when I basically went to the internet and vented.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
They listened, right? And they didn't come with solutions. They just acknowledged and listened, and I'm going to remember that.
No, I get that. Okay, I'm gonna type this. I'm gonna put this one in chat. I want you to read it because I don't know how to pronounce them, and I'm not gonna try it. And then you tell me what they are, and then which one is which one. What is that one?
Beignets or boudin?
Yeah, there you go.
So beignets are a fried donut.
Yeah.
That is then covered with powdered sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks very much like it's all dough, but it looks kind of like a small hot pocket or pizza roll.
Sounds good. Yeah.
But it's all dough throughout. Just a fried donut. I prefer beignet fingers versus beignets proper. Beignets are more pillow like.
Oh, okay.
Large pillow. Beignet fingers are more baguette size, and so they have more surface area crunch.
Yeah.
Anyways. But beignets versus boudin. Boudin is a French blood sausage.
Oh. Totally different.
So there's two. Yeah, there's two types. The proper blood sausage would have like pork blood in it, but then there's boudin en noir. I think it's called white sausage.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't have blood. Now Louisiana boudin is typically like pork belly and rice shoved into a sausage casing.
So like two different things. So one's more of a dessert, one more or as a main course kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah, you got that sweet and savory on there, Liquid. You got what's very popular, right? Down here is to take that boudin, like the fillings, and roll it up into a ball. encase it with flour or whatnot and fry it. So fried boudin and fried donut and fried sausage. That's what you have.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Those are called boudin balls.
So
if you've ever seen
a
boudin
dessert or a
station.
boudin ball is basically like the question. So you prefer?
Yeah, if you want to ask me about like fried versions of each, then I know I am a fat guy. Like I'm a big guy. It looks like I like to eat sweets. I actually don't care for sweets.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much, I'm fat because I like pizza. So like boudin. Boudin.
I'm more of a give me a good meal versus a dessert. Like I'm not going to go to a restaurant and eat like a partial meal just so I can have a cheesecake or something. I'm that too.
Oh yeah, and if you want the best boudin, you don't go to New Orleans. Chef. There's some boudin places between here and Houston, down in Cajun country, and between Baton Rouge and Louisiana. The best boudin shops in La Place, hands down. Yeah, you can't fight me on this.
I definitely want to.
I know my boudin.
That's a perfect.
I know my
boudin.
I know my boudin. Look, if you come to New Orleans, we are going to Cafe Du Monde and getting some beignets. Like that's like hands down, you have to go to like the classic historical place that served everybody coffee and beignets.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Like we have to do that. You have to do that because you're in New Orleans. But then we're gonna go outside the city and we're gonna get some boudin. So.
There you go. I love it. What's something about you that's super Louisiana and then something that's not?
Oh well, boudin. But
that's why I put that question first. To be honest.
So when I graduated college, I went to LSU. I went to LSU down here in Baton Rouge. We're a drinking state with a football problem.
Yeah.
So I went to LSU, graduated, and then I went up to bumfuck Egypt, Illinois, Champaign, Illinois, for graduate school in chemical physics. And nobody up there believed me that I was from the South. Right. I would say that I'm from Louisiana, and they're like, "You ain't from the South. You don't have an accent. You don't speak like a Southerner."
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't help. My parents are from like Appalachia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Right. Upper Appalachia. You know, they say pop. They say use guys. Right. They don't. It wasn't until the very few Southern words that come to my vernacular, right? When I say like y'all, right? I got that little drawl on that y'all. There was somebody who was like, I didn't believe you were from Louisiana until you said y'all, and I was like, yeah, no, that's I got that really drawl long a.
yeah. So you do have a little bit of that, but yet people don't catch it until they've been around you long enough.
I got a little bit of that, and I got like I said earlier, I really respect knowing your culture. I am not Cajun French. I'm about as white as copy paper. I did that Ancestry.com, 23andMe, DNA, trace your ancestors.
Yeah.
My bloodline is from the Isles, right? They are Anglo-Saxon. Anything that's not Anglo-Saxon is because they were invaders, right?
Yeah.
So
no, I get that. Yeah. So when you did that, was there a shock, or was it a shock? Like,
no, I was not shocked that I was like very, very British and very English.
Yeah. So there wasn't like a 1% or 2% of something else. You're like, what is this? I didn't know I was this. Or
no. No, I'm more like because of my origins, I have more Neanderthal in me than a lot of people, right? So
that explains the pizza over the dessert. I'm just saying, maybe.
but to get back to the point, it's I picked up that accent. I've been working on more Cajun French phrases. Another funny story: when I went up there to Illinois, I was all grad students become a teaching assistant, and we have a phrase down here. We call things that are just superfluous or extra information. We call it lagniappe, right? It's just a little bit of Cajun French word for extra. That's just a little bit lagniappe. It's just a little bit extra. And I kept saying that, and every student was confused. Everybody was like, what the fuck is he saying? What the fuck is he saying? and I stopped and I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I'm not Cajun French, but sometimes the super common phrases will come out. Lang yap, les ball temps roulé for let the good times roll.
Yeah.
Sha for like deer or like bruh.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it so much.
So sometimes that'll sneak out, right? A little bit of Louisiana will sneak out, especially since I've been commuting so much through Acadian country. It's very hard to not let that come out. Look, if anybody watched college football a couple of years ago, Coach O, look, I don't know what everybody's problem was. I knew what Coach O was saying.
Yeah.
So y'all just need a upskill or something.
Like it wasn't speaking to everybody. It was speaking to the people that are listening. Look at that. All right, so I have a few other ones that are a little bit deeper to end the YouTube video, and then we'll have a little bit for everybody else. So here's a little bit more in-depth kind of like look past and the whatever. With everything you've been through, school, career shifts, loss, Twitch, what are you most proud of today?
I think I'm proud of just like owning my trajectory a little bit more when it comes to what I want to do and owning my career instead of like letting other people dictate it, right? Owning my legacy, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'll be cheesy.
I like that.
I'll be cheesy. Taking a more proactive choice with that. Not I was taking a back seat to it. I was just letting things happen, let it ride, let it vibe,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm proud of waking up and being like, look, we only live once, right?
Yeah.
So like let's take agency of our lives and recognize when we have control and when we don't, and just go with it, right? Like do what we can do to control it, and everything else respond to it, right? So we become proactive and not reactive, right?
I love it. Yeah. I'm writing that down because I have other stuff that I'm going to use that for later. Okay. So last couple, what do you hope people take away from your streams beyond just entertainment?
It's almost going to be completely opposite of what I just said, but sometimes you just have to sit back and sit on the couch and just vibe. Like,
I get that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could push, but there's like, and I skipped a couple because we'll talk about that when we get offline for everybody else. But like even like burnout, things like that. Like, you're gonna work, and like all of a sudden that song is going to work. Anyway, my bad. So in that instance, there is a time where you need to take care of yourself and just sit down and, like you said, on the couch and vibe. So I agree to that.
Yeah, like, so growing up, I grew up in the last era where kids would, go to people's houses, hang out. We had neighborhood kids. We would periodically go to somebody's house and just play video games. And if it was a multiplayer game, we would just swap controllers, share controllers, right?
Mhm.
NBA Jam, some RPGs. We just played various games, right? And I always kind of want to like be nostalgic and emulate that, right?
Mhm.
You're coming to my stream, right? You're watching me play a video game. We're just hanging out on the couch, man. Like, we're just chatting.
Yeah.
Like you're here. We're just coexisting, man. Like,
I agree. Yep.
yeah, that's what I want. And that's just the vibe I'm trying, right? I that was my running joke. Everybody is partner pushing, but I kept calling myself like verified vibes. Like, that's my partner push slogan, right? Verified vibes.
Yeah, no, I love it because everyone's like, yeah, come up with your own push slogan to get what you. Yeah,
I get it. People were like quest for the check, or like everybody comes up with something clever, and I was like, I like my clever thing. Mine's verified vibes.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
Subtle, but like, if you know, you know.
This is why I want you to be partner so much, because I think that would be one of my favorite stream teams. We are the verified vibes.
I love it because the herd is already taken, so I love it. All right, now we know what we need to do.
Yeah, get it. Yeah. All right, I got one more left, and then if there's any last words you want to say for the YouTube channel, then we'll open it up to anybody that's here live. If your younger self could see you now, what would you think he would say?
What the fuck?
I mean, that's fair.
I was all over the place as a kid. I went through phases. It'd be like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to go be an archaeologist. I want to be a truck driver. Like kids are kids, right? There's no, sense of direction. You get inundated with information. You watch TV. Back then, I watched a lot of like public broadcasting channels, like PBS, our local station had local programming. That was back in the day when local stations had local shows. So you get exposed to a lot. You'll say something silly, it doesn't stick, right? As you get older, right, you get more and more fine-tuned and kind of be like, all right, yeah, I think I don't want to go this direction. All right, apparently I really am good at math. Man, maybe I'm too good at math. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of math. Oh God, I really suck at writing.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Oh God, I really suck at drawing.
I love it. Yeah.
So what age range are you talking? Are you talking about like 5-year-old me? Because 5-year-old me would be like, what?
Yeah.
What is that? What's the internet?
I mean that's a good point, because I mean, like, I used to watch. There's a movie out there, and I cannot, to the life of me, cannot come up with the name. It's with Bruce Willis, and like he's older, and then all of a sudden his kid self shows up. Maybe it's like the kid, I can't remember, something like that. And like he's like talking like, how come you don't have a dog by now? Like, where's your dog? Like, where's your wife? Like all like it's all like these questions of like, how are you here now and not be like, it's I love that movie so much.
Yeah, if you ask like college me, I'd be like disappointed because I don't have a Nobel Prize yet.
Yeah.
I didn't figure out, I didn't get a Fields Medal or figure out one of those like math problems that like people hadn't solved in a century. I didn't figure out the solution to the third body problem that has been plaguing physicists for like a century, for like more than a century. All that fun stuff. Like, I'd be like, damn, we didn't make it. And then I'd be like, yeah, there's like things more important than like dumb medals and awards, right? We learned a lot about ourselves through our non-linear path, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I get that. For sure. Because I look back at it and I found a box full of like stuff I made in high school, like some of the medals and things like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my life in a box. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the few things that survived. We had a big flood in 2016 that like flooded my parents' house and my storage unit that had like all like my life, right? One of the few things that survived that flood, it was like the box of like medals from high school. It's like, damn, this is like the shittiest box to survive, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I open it up and it's like, look at all these like random ass awards. Oh, I was like best actor in 6th grade or something, right? I mean, it's cool stuff to like look back on, but college me would have been like, how come you still don't have awards and accolades? It's like, I do. It's just not. It's not published, right? It's not like the awards. The awarding aspect is I have a lot of, and maybe one day I'll write it down in like a diary memoir or something. But like, I learned a lot through living, right, and beyond just what I learned in school in a classroom, right? So
yeah,
like you can't take that away from me. At the end of the day, like, when I was broke bouncing at a strip club up in Illinois after I failed grad school, like,
yep,
like we've hard to believe that you'd be like, oh, you hung out with like strippers. I was like, yeah, for like 3 years.
I mean, why not? Yeah. I mean, how did we not get this conversation in the recording? Guess what, y'all? If you're not here live, guess what? You're gonna miss it because we're gonna talk about it here in a little bit. All right, but anyway, so before we before we shut off the YouTube video recording, any last words, where to follow you, all that kind of fun stuff, where you're going to be, whatnot, all that kind of stuff?
Well, when I eventually come back to streaming more regularly, which will probably be August, I do need to I might try to stream this weekend some, but it'll just be co-working if I do, because I have a lot of stuff to prepare for a meeting next week. But when I do come back, I've gotten some equipment. I think I am going to do a driving ASMR stream for those who might be interested in
awesome
just watching me drive to this the place I've been driving to for the past few months.
Hell yeah.
I finally got a couple of different phone cards. I got the setup, a little computer and a backpack to kind of like do IRL streams. It's basically like an IRL stream setup, right, for a car. So Amazon Prime kind of came in clutch there. Get a couple equipment good for mounting cameras and microphones in cars. So I think I'm going to start that, right? So that's a solid 8 hours of nothing.
Yeah, no, that's right. I had somebody, and if you're going to do that, this might be something that you look into too, is like, I had somebody that I knew that did that and had the headphones read the chat to them, but not to stream. So then you don't have to try to read chat as you're driving. So that's a big one.
Yep. So I got what they call like the trucker Bluetooth headset. I don't know if you've ever seen truckers with a big fat.
Yep.
Like they look like our gaming headset, but there's just one ear is open, the other, So I got a mono ear headset. I downloaded a couple TTL apps, and I've picked one that I think is the best.
Awesome.
We'll roll with it. I set up to kind of ignore my bot, so I'm not constantly bombarded with like the spiel about, hey, I'm driving, I'm not reading chat, so like
yeah, exactly,
don't be butthurt, this is an ASMR stream, so like I appreciate when you say hi, but I may not say anything, like so I'll be able to like maybe respond periodically, but also they just vibe with me as I drive for like 8 hours.
Fuck yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd be game for that. If I'm at work and I'm just not doing anything, I would definitely fucking be a part of that. Yeah, exactly,
pretty much. That's the best time to drive, is at night. There, for me,
less people and like, so much. I agree to that too.
And so the next step is to get like a little night vision camera, make it a little bit interesting, but we'll see.
That'd be awesome.
So there's that. I have been playing a lot offline. I've been playing the 2 Point Hospital. It's a little management game. I think I should be streaming it because it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that.
Now, do you think you would try for partner before TwitchCon, or do you care?
I want to go to that party.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I knew you would enjoy it, but I'm just like, considering this, you're on a 4-stream streak. This would be the time to do it. Yeah, for sure.
What happens is what happens, right? If it happens, cool. They already denied me once, and I blame TwitchCon for it. But
oh shit, yeah.
They had the audacity, Liquid, to say that I was inconsistent. And I was like, what's inconsistent? All my streams average like 80 plus people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you mean when my connection kept cutting out? And so that's when it said that I averaged like 5 people because like, Twitch doesn't refresh instantly.
yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, I shouldn't have, like, in hindsight 2020, I shouldn't have tried to stream walking to the convention center in Las Vegas.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. Like,
no IRL streams if you didn't have what I would call a redundant IRL setup, where like if you lose signal on AT&T, you switch to Verizon or you switch to T-Mobile, right? You try to pick the carrier that's not dropping you.
Oh yeah, I told everybody, I said, the one time that I did an IRL stream that I loved so much was from TwitchCon 2022 when we were sitting at the hookah bar and we're just sitting there bullshitting and drinking and having a good time. So, if you have the setup, I'm definitely going to be like, I know where we're going to go for having a little bit of fun.
I remember that hookah bar.
Fuck, I love that
hookah bar. I was sponsored by GameCowTV.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'll take that. All right, y'all. For everybody that's YouTube channel, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. It's been a blast. That's GameCowTV. Go follow them. Twitch.tv/GameCowTV.
Yes, and I'm also GameCowTV on all the other socials: Instagram, X, YouTube.
Smaller.
I think I grabbed the YouTube handle. I'd have to double check.
Yep. Awesome. Right there. Yep.